Okay, do we have quorum?
Yes, we have quorum.
Okay, go ahead and do a call of order. We'll start off with the monthly reports. Honolulu Fire Department. Okay, nothing heard. Are they on?
I don't see anyone from HFD right now.
Okay, Honolulu Police Department.
Hello, good evening. I'm Sergeant Miller with the Pro City Police Department. We have the stats for Aiea Neighborhood Board. Motor vehicle thefts as of December, we're at 10. Burglaries are at 6. Thefts are at 21, and vehicle break-ins are at 15. As of January, we are at 8 motor vehicle thefts, 5 burglaries, 21 thefts again, and then 15 vehicle break-ins. That's it. Any questions?
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Board members, any questions for HPD? Okay, nothing heard. Community members, any questions for HPD? Go ahead, sir.
Hi, my name is Larry Figa. I live on 99-140 Pomoho Place. And there's no parking signs posted on one side of our street. There's been a car parked there for a while. And I've called HPD as far as a non-emergency call. As far as the response time for non-emergency, and when should I call back? Is it an hour, 2 hours?
That's going to differ wildly depending on the caseload of the time. If it's a chronic issue, what we suggest is putting in the complaint through 311 app or something similar, so that we can take care of it at long term instead of just citing it daily.
Okay, because as far as the cars parking there, they might park several days in a row. They might not park again. So when I call, I see a car there. If I do the 311 and they drive through, no one may be parking over there.
Correct. 311 is like I said, it's more of a long-term issue over a 911 call, and we may do checks up to a week depending on how the complaint is delivered, and we can do a little bit more long-term enforcement and record it that way.
Yeah, as far as the officer's discretion, if there's no parking signs posted, can the officer make a decision whether to ticket the car or not?
They can. That's probably not advised. I wouldn't ask my guys to do that, but especially if it's regulated by a sign. Towing is a different issue, but the vehicle should be getting a citation.
Okay, no, the reason I asked is it happened before, and I actually met an officer, and he was adamant that it's his, I guess, decision whether to ticket the car or not. And I know there's a no parking sign posted, so I thought that was odd that he did not want to ticket cars.
Ultimately, it is, but like for me and our guys, we do not follow that rule 100%. If it is regulated by that sign and it is a 911 call, I'm gonna have them issue a citation.
Okay, yeah, the reason I'm asking too is because when one car parks, other cars park, they start drinking, they leave their beer bottles in front of my home.
Correct.
So that's why I'm asking that question. But
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will be. I'll be presenting this to my sector, and then we'll keep an eye on it.
May, go ahead.
Is it illegal to do that? There are so many cars, they're both, maybe they fix cars, but is there a limit to how many cars? And isn't that you have to move in 24 hours or something? They're like permanent structures. Is there
I'm sorry, I missed the middle part of that.
And they park on sidewalks, cars, boats, cars, they have so many cars, and they don't move it. Isn't there a rule that so many 24 hours the car has to move, or they can be cited with the,
Correct. So the only issue with abandoned vehicle, and that's what the law would cover, is we have to mark it and then go back the following day and a lot of times it's moved. But please call if that is an issue. Call, we can try. The second thing with that is you can also go onto the abandoned vehicle website and report it directly to that division, and they will also help with enforcement.
I mean, it doesn't really bother me because I've been a part, but roads are so crowded, and a lot of people they're renting their houses out to.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, that's not a big deal. Go ahead and call. Like I said, you can also use a 311 app and for a little bit longer term solution.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Community members, any other comments, questions, concerns?
HFDs.
What's that?
HFDs.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, thank you for your report, sir. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Okay, back to HFD. Go ahead, would you mind giving your report?
Hi, firefighter one, Trevor Horibata with Aiea Fire Station. I'm gonna start off by going over the previous questions from the last month's meeting. It was about a hazmat incident. So Station 10 Aiea, we basically went there at 10:17 hours on Saturday, December 2nd. There was a pickup truck that had its gas tank partially detached, leaking gasoline on the roadway. What we did was we requested HPD's assistance with contacting a tow company, and we cordoned off the area so that no one was going to be smoking or an assisted stadium personnel with crowd control. We waited there till the tow company came, and they was able to tow away the vehicle, and then we cleaned up all the fuel. For January 2024 statistics, we've had 3 structure fires, 4 nuisance fires. A nuisance and fire includes rubbish fires outside a structure or vehicle. We've had 7 activated alarms. We've had 146 medicals, 1 motor vehicle collision with pedestrian, 6 motor vehicle crash collisions, and 2 mountain rescues. To end off, we have some fire safety tips and announcements. So fire safety tip number 1 is don't stall, call 911. Call 911 right away when there's an emergency. Once the operator is on the line, speak clearly and provide an accurate description of the type of emergency and the location. Remain calm. The operator may ask for additional information or provide instructions. If you find yourself in a spot where you do not have good reception for voice communication, example, an elevator, or if you're out hiking, you can text your emergency to 911. Lastly, if you don't know the passcode to unlock a cell phone, you can push the emergency button to unlock it and call 911. That will conclude the January 2024 statistics. Does anybody have any questions?
Board members, any questions for HFD? Okay, hey, I have one thing. A reporter actually called me and was asking me about your guys' wildfire prevention efforts. So I'm not sure if you guys are gonna hear something later on about that.
Sure, hold on. We're getting our brochure that we have.
Yeah, it's available.
So we have these available. It's basically our wildland fire pamphlets. It's gonna show, like if you're in a wildland area, you're gonna have to basically you can cut off all of your brush or clean out the area around your house. There's gonna be a 50-foot clearance on the side. So basically that will help with any brush fire that'll be around your actual home, and you can clean out the area around there. But these are available to have and look at, and it'll show for wildland fires.
So will this be the responsibility of the homeowner or to do that?
That would be the responsibility of the homeowner for the brush around their house, correct?
So what happens if the homeowner is elderly? How is that gonna work?
I'm good. On the next meeting, I'll have the answer to that. I'll do some further research and get it to you.
All right, thank you. Okay. Community members, any questions for HFD? Go ahead, ma'am. Can you come up to the mic, ma'am?
probably a little harder.
Yeah, he's gonna be like, what's she saying?
My name is Joan. I live at 99238 Uluna Street. I have noticed that I guess there's like a homeless encampment that's under the freeway. And we would smell, or I would see flames coming out with, I think they're like burning plastic or something. How do I approach that situation, or what do you guys suggest for that?
Sorry, could you repeat the question again?
I'm asking, how do I guess there's a homeless encampment that's underneath the freeway. And I've noticed I've seen flames coming out, or like they're burning plastic, or I don't know if it's to help them keep warm. But how would I approach the situation, or who do I have to report to? Would it be you guys, HPD? How do we prevent it from like continuing? Because I've noticed it like 3 times a week, 4 times a week.
Hello, I'm Captain Mukulu from the fire station. Anytime there is a fire incident you see, you can call 911 and request for HFD to come out. They shouldn't be burning any rubbish or anything outside in the area. So that's something that we would go to and respond to put out. As far as clearing the area and having the homeless people move from that, that's not our responsibility. That's something probably you can try with HPD. But yeah, so if you do have a situation where you see fire, just call 911, call for a fire department and ask for us to go and check it out, and then we'll go and respond and get them to put it out. If not, put it out ourselves.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, HP, there'll probably be some outreach programs too that will go with HPD to address the actual encampment itself. Yeah.
Share a PC.
Can- Yeah, Mr. Robbie?
Yes, if you find a homeless encampment within the state highway right away, or like under the H1 viaduct, you can let me know and I can have work with our homeless coordinator to clear the camp.
Okay, can you provide the address or location to that?
The location, yeah. Or you can take a picture and email it to me. That'll be better, so it's easier to identify location.
So we're right by 7-Eleven, so they are underneath the freeway, is that the?
The H1 right there?
Yeah, H1.
Or the Pro
Yeah.
City
Right by
viaduct.
7-Eleven.
That's by the Pro City one or Aiea area by
It's the 7-Eleven right near the Aiea library right over here.
Aiea library. Okay. Okay, I will check it out and work with our homeless coordinator.
Okay, thank you. Okay, all right, any other questions? Comments? Okay, nothing heard. All right, thank you, sir, for your report.
Yeah,
Appreciate it. Okay, Board of Water Supply. Tracy.
Good evening, Chair.
Good evening.
Members of the Aiea Neighborhood Board and members of the Aiea community. I'm Tracy Virgo with the Board of Water Supply. This month, there were three main breaks reported last month in this neighborhood board district. January 2nd, there was a 6-inch main break, 98107 Kalike Place, that's behind Boston's Pizza. January 14, 8-inch main break, Hulu New Loop, that's lower Aiea Heights. And then January 31, another 6-inch main break, and that was at 99-67 EA Place, and that's lower Aiea. As far as general water announcements, Board of Water Supply is providing its customers with a big offer of $100 rebate on WaterSense labeled toilets. That's anything 1.28 gallons per flush or less. This is more than double the usual rebate amount, and it's only being offered for a limited 90-day period through April 18. The special rebate is limited to 4 toilets per household and 10 toilets for commercial customers. For more information, please go to www.boardofwatersupply.com/rebate. And then I have two responses to share with you folks from last month's meeting. A community member asked regarding the Haleiwa main break. He said it took over 1 hour for the water to be shut off, and he knows the fire department has the tools to shut it off. So why didn't they turn it off? And why did it take so long to turn off the water? So when a main break occurs, the Board of Water Supply sends a troubleshooter to the break site. The troubleshooter closes the necessary valves to stop water loss and isolate the broken section from the rest of the main. Valve closures must be done gradually and carefully, which takes time. This protects the system from any abrupt changes in pressure and flow, which could result in additional main breaks. This is why the Board of Water Supply prefers to shut down valves on its mains, such as the 16-inch main that broke in Haleiwa. And as always, we appreciate the community's patience and understanding while our crews work to repair the main. For our second response, I actually have a handout that was made available to people here, and Logan has a link in the chat area. Thank you, Logan. The question was, a community member said he saw Ernie Lau on the news regarding a $1.2 billion claim against the military and a $267 million price tag for new wells and sources. He said the math didn't add up. How did Board of Water Supply come up with that claim amount, and what's the cost breakdown, and where is the money going? So the question was, how did the Board of Water Supply come up with the claim amount? So everything is explained in the handout. I'm not going to go into the details. If you folks have any questions regarding this handout, you can either call the communications office at area code 808-748-5041, or you can email your questions to contact us at hbws.org. And that's my report.
Okay, thank you, Tracy. Yeah, we're gonna have to look at this. It does seem pretty excessive that it would cost $1.2 billion to replace 3 wells. That's mind-boggling. Okay. Yeah, at first I thought it was a typo. All right. Okay, any questions for the Board of Water Supply? Okay, community members, any questions for Board of Water Supply?
Mr.
Go ahead.
On the news.
Can you come up here, please? Yeah. You might, well, I don't know why you sit back there. You should sit over on that side. Easier walk.
On the news, they had I guess a broadcast that the federal government was gonna give Board of Water Supply 75 million to start up the wells again, but Board of Water Supply turned it down. Was there any strings attached to that 75 million, and why did Board of Water Supply turn it down?
Okay, that's a good question. I will have an answer for you at the next.
Oh,
Okay,
thank you.
all right.
So why does it cost to drill so much at these particular wells? Because in the report here, I'll just read this real quick. Review of BWS records also indicates that BWS Halava Shaft drinking water well was completed on December 1st, 1944 at a cost of $2.2 million roughly. Drilling of the BWS Aiea wells, units 1 and 2 drinking water wells, was completed by February 1955, and these wells cost the Board of Water Supply at least $28,000. Drilling of the BWS Halava wells, 1, 2, and 3 drinking water wells, was completed in October 1961, and these wells cost the BWS $80,000. So at the time, even if we factor in, let's say, I don't know, inflation, you're looking at like $2.4 million total during that period of time. And I don't see how it ends up 2.4 from 1966 ends up with the 1.2 billion in 2023.
Okay, That one I will also have.
Okay.
for you.
But it goes back to what I'm trying to say here, which is like, what is causing these wells to have to be so expensive? Are they drilling through bedrock or something? I mean, diamonds, what is it? Cause I'm not a well guy, but that seems excessive. 1.2 billion for wells. I don't know.
Most of the material here is consolidated.
Yeah. It's not like a state. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And I understand, like, are these quotes? Is this quotes here that you've gotten? What are these numbers?
I believe.
Are these your own numbers that you guys came up with, or is this like quotes from contractors?
I don't have the answer, so it's probably
Okay.
better if you get it, an official
All right,
answer.
let's plan on that for next meeting. We'll do, I'll put it on the agenda. Have some of the guys, whoever's responsible for coming up with this information, to be attending, please. Because I would like to know why it's gonna cost $1.2 billion to replace these wells. And they do need to be replaced, you're saying?
Yes,
Okay,
because these, three wells are critical. Two of them are critical for the Aiea area, because right now, the amount of the amount of water that we're getting from the
Mhm.
available wells is about half of what we normally pump for Aiea. And then, the Halava shaft is a very critical, source, or was a critical source for metropolitan Honolulu. So
Mhm.
we've had to make up the, water supply from the loss of that well. It was like 20% of metropolitan. So it's quite a bit.
okay.
No question.
Go ahead.
It doesn't have to do with financing, but with the drilling of the new wells or shafts that are slated, is the aquifer that we sit over still going to supply the water for metropolitan Honolulu as Halawa Shaft did? Or are you gonna drill other wells over Kona, like over the Honolulu district? Because how it was before the shutdown of Halawa Shaft, right? We were supplying all of the water. So is that slated to happen again, or are you gonna shift?
We are looking at various, I guess, sources and other ways of getting the water. Right now, we are bringing in a lot of water from the, our sources in like Pearl City and.
But all the Pro Harbor aquifer though,
It's
right?
still the Pearl Harbor.
So you're still expecting the Pearl Harbor aquifer to supply the water for metropolitan Honolulu?
Currently, yes.
Okay. Is it still gonna draw water from the same aquifer?
That's what she said.
That's what-
Yeah, that's what she said.
That's what Danielle.
So instead of shifting it to be the aquifer over the metropolitan area supplying its own customers, they're gonna continue to extract from the aquifer that we sit under to supply the folks in town.
Isn't that the same aquifer that's polluted?
Oh, not quite, there are different, the aquifer has different parts to it. And so we're just, I know it doesn't mean, it's a geological thing.
Okay,
They have different, there's geological structures. They're all kind
Okay.
of connected because it's one big aquifer
Right.
under the island. But we're going to be, well, currently we're making up for the loss of Halava by using other sources. So we've been pumping, some of our sources extra hard. The ones in town, like Veritania and stuff, and that's all part of the aquifer. It may not be part of the area here, it's still aquifer. And then,
Okay.
like I said, we are bringing in water from, Pearl City, Waikaku, that area.
That's why it's called shafts, right? Because it's taken from that one, basically, shaft of the corridor for that one area of the aquifer, basically, right?
No, the shaft is just a different way of getting the water. It allows us to skim water off the top of the aquifer. but we still use, deep wells and artesian wells when they're available.
Is there a way to expand existing wells rather than dig new ones at $1.2 billion?
That's a good question, that one I can't answer.
Okay,
Well, those-
go ahead, Claire.
Wanted to know, can the Board of Water Supply
Mhm.
investigate where other aquifers that they can tap on the east side of the island? And, because to me, if you establish some wells on the east side of the island to service Honolulu and Waikai and all of that, then even to run the line to these areas would save you some money. It would diversify the amount of wells in case something goes wrong again. We shouldn't have that problem because, you know, the pollution source supposedly, but you never know. We have jet fuel all over the place over here. So it would diversify the risk. And it would spread out the responsibility of the water. And, you know, pumping it so far. I think we should look at East Honolulu and see what can be done as far as drilling wells on that side of the island. Much of we don't want to share.
I'll take that back.
There was one other question I wanted to ask you, Tracy. I'm sorry to put you on the spot, so is the reason, so would this number be, let's say, for example, we did do this, okay? Would this cost be pushed onto the citizens of Oahu, or would it be pushed onto the Navy?
Well, that's why we filed this thing, trying to get back
From-
from the,
Back from the Navy? What do you mean by that?
well, we're trying to get money from the Navy to fund all of this.
Okay, all right, I got it, okay. I mean, that still comes out of our taxpaying dollars, I get it, but.
Yeah, we can't wait to do all of this because it takes.
So are you saying initially this cost will be incurred on the people who use the water?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm good, sort of. Okay, yeah, we're gonna have a discussion next month about this. So, in fact, I might just make a 30-minute one. Okay, thank you, Tracy. Any questions, any other questions for the Board of Water Supply? So now you got me on that tangent here.
Wait, I got a question. So
Okay, go ahead.
if that case, if the cost right now is gonna be burdened by the users, the end users or not, should the federal government reimburse you guys for that money then? Is it gonna be dispersed back to all of the customers?
Can I ask you, if you could email that question? To us at the HPC?
Okay,
That way, if, you know, if you folks can email your questions to us, we can at least have the responses by the next week. That would be very.
so I know that the report, so Tracy, I'm just letting you know, I know reporters are looking at our agenda. And they're reviewing our notes on these, because they've called me up about HFD last month. And I have a feeling they're gonna be calling me about this. Okay, just let you know. Okay. All right, community members, any questions in regards to Board of Water Supply? Okay, nothing heard. All right, Tracy, I'll let you go. Thank you so much.
Sorry, it was me.
No, bad news doesn't get well with age, right? So I get it. So, all right. Okay, moving on to the agenda for that one. Stadium Authority, Christine and Samantha.
Aloha Chair Wood, members of the
Aloha.
board and members of the community. Kung hei whāchoe, happy Mardi Gras, I got my beads, and happy Valentine's Day. So just to share how nerdy we are, the biggest thing for our team now is that when you recall that December 14th, we kicked off our procurement process. That started the qualification stage, and what really is going to be a big present for us tomorrow for Valentine's Day is that the deadline for submitting qualifications is due tomorrow. So that's our big excitement. We'll be waiting for those responses. And then our team gets back into heavy work evaluating the responses. We're looking forward to announcing not more than 3 priority listed offers by April. And then we're going to roll right into the proposals phase. And that's where it gets exciting because we get to see what kind of concepts and designs the teams are going to be putting together. Their proposals will be due by this July. And by August, we're anticipating whittling all of that down to the one master developer that will be working with all of us to go into their final contract by the summer of 2025. So the big news for us is that we're still on track for the 2028 UH football season kickoff. And so we're working very hard to keep that moving. The other big item we had is a shout out to Senator Wakai for really sticking his neck out to support us. For those of you who track legislation, Senate Bill 3197 made quite a big splash. It came out with very broad language on exempting the billboard law. And I just wanted to join all of you here to reassure all of you that that's not the intent of the bill, as it was amended today by the Energy and Economic Development and Tourism Committee in the Senate. There are amendments being made to more accurately reflect really what our NASID team is embracing. You know, we're not that much different from you as a community. We still want to maintain the Hawaii sense of place. We want to embody the Aloha spirit, and we're not looking to create health and safety issues. We don't want to be Las Vegas. We don't want to be, you know, the New York Times Square. We don't want to really detract from the beauty of Hawaii, but really what we're looking at is a good medium where we can capture the entertainment district, enliven it, generate revenue. So what we're talking about, probably the biggest thing would be naming rights for the stadium. And other than that, all of the signage would be inward facing to enhance the experience of being in an entertainment district. So the signage would be really aimed at the pedestrians, people coming for the events. They'll allow for wayfinding and also cultural and educational opportunities. So we look forward to working with you, the community, and all of our partners to fashion this bill as we move forward. Then we also wanted to share for our events that we do have first the concert for reggae, R&B, rap jam that was supposed to take place in February has been rescheduled to August 2024. And sorry, now I'm putting on my Sam hat because she can't be here today. And we have the update for this coming Sunday, Kung Hei Fa Choi, the Ji Young Martial Arts Dragon and Lion Dance Sports Association will be having their big dragon dance starting from the food court and going along section 8D. Please bring your cameras and your lisi to come on and celebrate with us. And then on President's Day, of course, the 40th annual Great Aloha Run will again mark its presence at the Aloha Stadium. So come out and join all of us. And our last newsletter was issued on January 29th. The next newsletter will be coming out at the end of this February as well. So I'm open to questions now.
Okay. Board members, any questions? Stadium Authority. Okay, nothing heard. Community members, any questions for Stadium Authority? Okay, nothing heard. All right, Christine, thank you so much. Follow. Samantha on, or do we move on? Oh, she's on vacation? Okay. All right, OCCC.
Great.
So Bettina, before we start, I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Can we, are we, what are the updates occurring here? Because if this is something that we can move to maybe like a quarterly thing, would that be okay with you?
Well, you're keeping your agenda short, so I have to accept that. And if you like, we, of course, since you've mentioned it a few times now, we can do that. What I could also do is I give you, I reach out to you the week before and tell you what is exciting and new. And then you can maybe determine whether it's appropriate for me to speak to everybody. Today, I would mention newsletter 51, which was issued. Everybody that is interested in it should have received it in their inbox. If not, please let me know. I will make sure that you get included on that mailing list. We, as Chris just mentioned, are all watching the legislature after last year's very extensive list of bills. This year is quite a bit different, at least for us in this round. There are 3 that we are watching. House Bill 1601, that's relating to arrests, law enforcement officers, and citations in lieu of arrest. In essence, it would require law enforcement officers to issue citations for certain offenses. No public hearing for this bill has been scheduled yet. Actually, it's four bills. House Bill 1603 is relating to courts, corrections, arrests, and pretrial release and bail. It amends various provisions relating to pretrial release. There is also no public hearing scheduled as of yet. House Bill 2725 is relating to Corrections Facilities Authority, DCR, Community Facilities, Direct Loan and Grant Programs. In essence, the bill establishes a Corrections and Facilities Authority to be responsible for all public corrections development, planning and construction related to capital improvement projects. And this bill passed second reading and has been referred to JHA. The DCR, the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, formerly known as PSD, opposes this bill as a redundant process. It is trying to fix something that is not broken. And then lastly, there's Senate Bill 2005 that's relating to DCR, inmates, mental health facilities, and appropriations. That bill requires the department to construct a mental health facility for inmates or detainees with mental health needs. And that bill passed second reading and was referred to WHAM. And that is all I have. Last year at this time, we had a list of at least 20 bills. So it is down to 4 this year.
Yeah, I know. It's a sad state, and we definitely need a new jail. That's a given, and so we'll just have to see where this goes from here on out. So, okay, board members, any questions for Triple C? Okay, community members, any questions? Claire?
Tina, who's gonna announce the results of the meeting on February 1st? Is someone gonna give us information about that meeting?
Oh, I am not sure. I heard it all correct. I think you asked who is
Gonna give us an update on the February 1st meeting.
oh, that was the UHCDC meeting, right?
Yes.
Yes. That would be DCR, or if we have Patsy Hochar from UHCDC on here, she could be. But I'm not seeing her. So there was a lot of information that was collected, and I would expect that to be gathered right now, evaluated, and put into a report format. We can all look forward to that at an upcoming meeting.
Yeah, so hey, maybe this is something that you could come back next month and tell us about.
I'd be happy to.
Thank you, ma'am. I
Can you
appreciate it.
just make sure, Bettina, that the results or the input that was given for that February 1st meeting has to do with OCCC, the jail, not the prison? Because a lot of the presentation had to do with the prison, and I think
Yes.
that distinction has to be made. Okay?
I agree, and I very much appreciate you pointing that out. Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, if there's no other questions, we'll move on.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bettina. Appreciate it. Pearl Ridge Shopping Center. I know David's not coming, so Lori, you're up. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you.
For those of you who don't have the handout, I'm going to
So,
very quickly do some highlights.
Before you start.
Yeah.
How's it going with the big box stores? They're standing empty right now.
I know.
Yes.
We still don't have, I think Dave is still in discussions with an anchor retailer for the old Sears site. We still don't
Okay.
have one.
Okay, and what about the Bed Bath and Beyond location?
That one as well.
Okay.
But fingers, for one of them, let's say, he's close.
He's close. Okay,
From
okay,
website, but I can't
okay.
announce it soon, I hope.
Very good. Because
So-
I do think that like, I think both of you have been performing great in terms of that vision of like having a community center where people can congregate, get together, do different activities, maybe,
Mhm.
shopping, not just shopping, but like, there's crafts that you guys did. I went to that one the other day. So yeah, it'd be nice to have some anchor stores in
Agreed.
there. Okay, so,
We want that too.
okay, great. Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
So, so for those of you online that don't have my handout, everything that I'm going to highlight, you can go to pearlridgeonline.com
Mhm.
and get the specific dates. So just to kind of highlight some fun things that are going to be happening in February and March, we've got Comic Jam Hawaii coming back in March, beginning of March. We've got Wanalua Middle School Orchestra. We've got also the Wanalua Middle School Band coming. A Miss America Scholar Talent Showcase, Lila Hula performance, and Pearl Ridge's own halal. So I'm just gonna, again, the dates are in the handout and can be found online, but I just want to give you some highlights of what we expect. In the pop-up market arena, some of you might be wondering, what's happening in the former Toys R Us building? Well, we're gonna have an upscale resale pop-up called Ria Lana Pop-Up, and she's been at Pearl Ridge before. And Riolana's coming back to offer consignment name brand clothing, toys, baby equipment, and furniture for Katie and moms to be. So opening to the public is going to be February 17th, continuing through February 25th. Again, that's at the Toys R Us site. Saturday, we continue with our open air farmers markets every Saturday morning, 8 to noon. Island craft fairs, Saturdays and Sundays at the Malka Center Court. And then Village Night Market, 5 to 9 on Saturdays. That's at the Malka parking lot fronting PJ Maxx store.
So how is that working out, by the way? Because I get the certified letters every month or whatever for them requesting liquor licenses and things like that. How's the participation? I haven't had an opportunity to go yet.
I don't have the attendance numbers for
Yeah.
the day, but it looks pretty busy.
Okay.
And I've gone.
Okay.
And they have, for those of you that haven't gone,
Right.
they have covered seating, beer, cocktails, live music,
Right.
along with 20 food and craft vendors.
Right. And I know that you guys have been really good about the live music and catering to residents around that area. So appreciate that.
Yeah. And then lastly, for the foodies, we have an Oahu Foodies Festival. That's the last Friday of every month from 4 to 9. And that's in the parking lot along Community Highway.
Yeah, all the food trucks, I've seen those along there. So, okay, good.
Still have Zumba Gold classes for those that want to stay healthy. So that's also online.
Yeah, I think the only thing left really honestly is trying to get those tenants into those box stores, those big box stores.
As
So
soon as we can announce, I'll call you.
I know you will. I know you will. So, so another thing that I want to bring up, and I might steal a little bit of Brandon's thunder here, but one of the things that him and I have been talking about is doing a zero net water solution type thing for new construction. And it was that I did some research on it based on the discussions we had with the farms and you folks. And so hopefully that legislation comes around. We'll see. I think it's worthwhile. We've provided tax breaks for solar. We should provide tax breaks for water usage. So that would, solve both our problems, right? You guys and the farms and the aquifer in general. Again, we're talking about the aquifer like we were earlier with these $1.2 billion in well drilling. So yeah, we'll see where this goes. But thank you. Thank you for your report.
Well,
board members, any questions? Okay, community members, any questions for Pearl Ridge Shopping Center? Yes. Go ahead, sir.
Almost every day, either myself or my sister takes my mom to Pearl Ridge Shopping Center. Are you folks gonna update your ADA access by those handicap parking stalls? Some of those doors don't have buttons. So if you have a wheelchair, it's next to impossible to open the door with your wheelchair and to get in. Some of the doors are sliding. But I'm just wondering, as far as the ADA side, there's a lot of seniors that go to Courage in the morning to exercise, but a lot of the access is not ADA. Well, it's ADA accessible if you have someone to open the door for you. But it's not like you push a button and it opens automatically.
I'll have to.
Thank you. Okay, US Navy Department of Defense, Victor. Oh, hey. You're hiding over there. I was like, okay, all right. Okay,
Then you'll go first.
okay, go ahead.
Okay, okay. Can you all hear me? Okay.
Yes, we can.
All right. So this is Lydia from Navy Region Hawaii. I'll go with a couple of updates and then over to Victor, and then we will be happy to answer your questions. So for an update on some of the Red Hill issues, you probably have seen in press releases and all what the Joint Task Force has been doing. As you remember, they did all the gravity defueling that was done in December, and now the residual fuel is getting removed. So as of February 12th, they have removed 29,273 gallons of the residual fuel from the pipelines. You can go on their app or their website to get more information on those. We held a transition open house on February 7th at Kehi Lagoon, thanks to the community members who came out to that. And a lot of the information from there, some of the videos, some of the poster boards are available on the Joint Task Force and the Navy Closure Task Force site, as well as the app, the JTF app that also has Navy Closure Task Force information on there as well. We do one of those public meetings a quarter, and the open house is a very good way to have different information stations open. We have really good conversations with people and are able to answer specific questions. So we'll keep you all posted on the next one as well. And again, if you haven't yet, please download the app, because as the Joint Task Force transitions away, the Navy Closure Task Force will be taking over that and putting more information on there. So the Navy Closure Task Force has started initial operations, and the transition with those two organizations is happening. Some of the people who work for JTF will be coming to work for the Navy Closure Task Force, and we're getting a lot of their lessons learned. What did they have to adjust as they were starting out? We also have a member of the Joint Task Force with us tonight if you have any specific questions. Long-term monitoring continues. We are nearing the end of that 2-year long-term monitoring that will end in March, but the Navy is looking for how they can continue a monitoring effort, and we're working with the regulators on that. And we hope to have more information soon. We obviously want to have something in place before the end of March, and we will provide information to the public about that. We have the drinking water long-term monitoring information booth. That information is on the safewaters.org website, and I'll put these websites in the chat so people can look. The next booth is February 14th tomorrow at Capilina Night Market from 4 to 8 p.m. And then at the end of the month, February 29th at the Pearl Harbor Navy Exchange. Navy continues to work with the regulators, so EPA and DOH. We meet with them every week at various levels, at the working level, at the staff level, and then at the senior level, to make sure that we all have the same information, we can answer questions, we can identify opportunities and issues and get ahead of that. So we will keep posting all the reports that we provide on our websites as well. And then finally, the Defense Health Agency had hosted a webinar in January, and they did record that. So the link to that is in our report that was sent forward. And if anybody has questions after Victor's done, I'll be standing by. Over to you, Vic.
Thanks, Lydia. Victor Flint, Naval Facilities. The Restoration Advisory Board is still on the books. There are some RAB questions that still need to be worked out. Those concerns were elevated for our command to address, and Naval Command is working hard to reestablish the Restoration Advisory Board. Now, February 12th, the Navy hosted the Aiea High School seniors. They were taken by the Pearl Harbor white boats around Pearl Harbor. Navy historian took the seniors back in time to see many of the historic sites around Pearl. And this was a great opportunity for our Aiea seniors to see Pearl Harbor from a different perspective. And NAVFAC Halava Utility Corridor, there were some issues with the sidewalk and overgrowth of vegetation earlier. Navy contractor was contacted and they will abate the problem. The lower sidewalk is clear, clean and passable. Upper sidewalk, there's still vegetation that will be cut back tomorrow, as well as the vegetation in the corridor will be cut back tomorrow. That's all I have. Are there any questions for Lydia or myself?
Board members, any questions for Navy DOD?
Dick or Lydia, I don't know who this would go to, but are there any updates about the folks living on the Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam water line who have experienced an uptick in symptoms over the last few months?
Lydia?
Yeah, I'll be happy to take that one. So we had heard that there were some people with concerns that were reporting their concerns to Department of Health or EPA. So Navy asked for those people's contact information so we could go test their water. So some people provided that. We then went and did the rapid response testing, which is something you can immediately get a detect or non-detect. But then we also send those samples back to CONUS to the EPA certified labs. In that interim time, because the samples have to go to CONUS, we offer bottled water to folks, and we have not had any detects or issues that have been noticed. But we want people who have concerns to call that number that is available to ask for the rapid response test. So that's basically where it is. We continue to go through any type of reports of concerns and go to do the testing. And the best thing to do is to get that log so we can test it. We're working with EPA and DOH to make sure that we all have the same info. All of those tests, like I said, go to an EPA certified lab. So when it comes back, we share that with the regulators, and then we provide it and post it.
I just have one follow-up. Are folks who are moving into the communities being informed that there's ongoing kind of investigations regarding the water, or are like, if I were to move in with my family to somewhere on base, am I being notified that there could be something?
Yes, in fact, we are double checking right now with the housing offices who run the public-private venture to make sure that they have an updated resident handbook. If you hear of someone who hasn't gotten the word, please let me know. But we've asked the housing offices to make sure that people know, and that's why we keep a regular drumbeat of information at neighborhood boards, on our website, and social media so that people understand. And then also just for the board, I know in previous months you have asked for a remediation brief. I do have it on my list. We don't have the remediation brief available yet. That's something that will be developed further as the closure efforts continue.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions from board members? All right. Two things. Has there been any kind of issues with the defueling?
Lydia? Are there any issues?
I'll actually turn that over. Yeah, I will turn that over to the Joint Task Force rep to let him answer.
Hello, neighborhood board and community members. My name is Major Brad Rockesy. I'm from JTF. No, we successfully defueled the 104 million gallons, gravity defueled the 104 million gallons of fuel in December. And as Lydia mentioned, we've removed 29,273 gallons of residual fuel to date with no incidents.
So is the risk right now, what's the level of risk at this point with the 28,000 in sludge, I guess, is left over?
Yes. So the Joint Task Force is responsible for approximately 60,000 gallons of residual fuel. We've removed approximately half of that, and then the Navy Closure Task Force will be responsible for the additional 4,000 gallons of residual fuel that has to be removed through destructive means. So as they take the pipeline out, and then the sludge in the fuel tanks.
Okay, but what I'm trying to say is the major risk is over now, or are we hitting the high risk time when we're trying to get the sludge out? What's the risk level?
Well, I mean, I can't speak to the the sludge, that's a technical process that's part of closure. As far as the liquid fuel that we're removing from the pipelines, the vast majority of that fuel from above the aquifer has been removed. The majority of the remaining residual fuel is down near the underground pump house.
Okay, because I think what I'm
And
asking
well,
is,
can I,
it's the what's behind
right.
us, right? Are we, yeah,
Well, and let me jump in here, Logan, if you don't mind. So everything we do, whether it's the Joint Task Force or the Navy Closure Task Force, we put a lot of time into preparing the processes. So it's a very deliberate process. So we don't just go in there and do the work. We put together the plans. We go there and we practice the plans. We then give those plans to the regulators. They will often come out and observe. So these are deliberate. We want to get this done expeditiously, but not at the risk of safety. So the primary goal is safety. So I would say that what we're doing now is the same as before. The gravity defueling went a lot quicker because of the pressure and the gravity. What we're doing now is slower, but it's just as deliberate. I don't know if that answers your question or not, but I guess I just want to underscore that what we're doing every single step of the way is being done with the regulators. We talk with DOH, we talk with EPA, they review the plans, they approve them, and then we provide updates.
okay, great. My second question was facility closure. We're looking at like June of 2028, I take it, yeah? And then,
it is.
Go ahead.
Well, so yes, the closure part is going to take longer than the defueling did. The defueling you saw went pretty quickly and ahead of schedule. The closure, this is now piped. It's taking apart the pipes. It's cleaning the pieces. It's looking for where might there be some residual and a coupling. So it's going to take a little bit longer.
Right.
So that is what we're shooting for.
And so, and has there been a determination yet on what to utilize this location for after 2028? Okay.
No, and thanks for asking that. You might all probably remember the Nakapuna surveys that came out and the whole potential beneficial non-fuel reuse, kind of a long title, but we wanted to say it's potential. It would have to be beneficial for all involved and it would not involve fuel. So there were three different efforts involved in Nakapuna. There was a UH look, and then RAND had a report as well. So that is not done. All of that was being gathered. So the RAND report brought all that was required by an NDAA, and that's going to be reviewed by Congress. So no decision yet, and all that will be shared with the community.
Okay, and there's no timeline on when we can expect that review to be completed?
I don't have a timeline, but if I get something, I will either update you at the next board or let you know when the reports are going to be processed. But I can tell you that the Navy isn't waiting for that because we continue to move toward the closure.
Right, gotcha. Okay, Tracy, you had something?
Yeah, I had a question. So Lydia, I was there at the House briefing for the committee that's chaired by Rep. Ichiyama on the 25th of last month. So from what I understood, the pipe dismantling will take like another 2 to 3 years, if I recall correctly. And then so up until now, when everything's supposed to be done in 2020, are we still going to be receiving these briefings from you folks at regular intervals as well?
Absolutely. We are here for the duration. So the closure part and the remediation, we will be keeping you informed. So the pipeline removal, good point. That's almost 11 miles. It's what's more than 10 miles of pipeline because there are 3 pipelines that go from the Red Hill fuel facility down to Pearl Harbor. That's about 3 miles times 3 pipelines. So again, that's a lot, and it has to go in sections, and there's cleaning. And like I mentioned before, there are deliberate actions because we're going to do it safely. But we will come brief you. Victor or I or another Navy rep will continue to give you info. And also at the House level, those hearings, a good point.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. One last question on my part. So on your remediation here, you have Aiea Halava shaft treatment. What is that? Because I mean, it sounds like to me the Board of Water Supply is saying those shafts are not viable anymore. Why even bother treating it?
This gets to what we've looked at of monitoring the flow. That's why all those groundwater monitoring wells are going in. So the Navy has put in, I believe it's 18 of 22. I'll have to double check those numbers, because what we're looking for is, has contamination spread? Where are we going? We continue to pump water out of the shaft to ensure that there's no spread. And we want to look at what is viable still, but what anything we do is going to be with DOH and EPA concurrent. So we are looking at what we can do to either bring shafts back on board, or what do we need to do instead. So that's still a coordination piece that we're working with stakeholders and the regulators.
Okay, so what you're saying is if this shaft treatment is completed by 2025, which is next year, it should be a viable well, right?
That is depending on regulator approval. So there will be a lot of tests, because we want to do it in the absolutely assured that everybody sees what's happening and we know what we're doing. So that's why we're working through all these processes.
But if the treatment is successful, it should be a viable well, correct?
I am not going to speculate on that, because what I don't know is what other different regulatory pieces there may be of that. So there are going to be a lot of steps. So it's not just going to be the Navy making the determination. That's our regulators. So I don't want to talk just on the Navy side of that.
Okay.
But I will ask that question and see if I can bring some more amplification.
So, because
I
$1.2 billion seems kind of excessive. I'm going to harp on that all night, I'm sure. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Lydia. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Any questions from the community?
No problem. Thank you.
Go ahead, sir.
From the past reports, as far as what happened, oil actually got into the line, our potable domestic water line, into those homes that are being served by the Red Hill water source. Is the Navy checking the system when they're doing the testing? Because normally, if the water's stagnant, and say if somebody's gone for a week and they pop open their spigot, that's when you're gonna have the highest concentration of oils in the water. When the Navy does their testing, do they run the water for 10, 15 minutes first, flush out the system, and then take their sample?
That is an excellent point, and thanks for bringing that up, because as you've mentioned, no matter where you live, if you've been away from your house for a while and you come back, you should run your faucet for a while. So we have hired contractors to go do the sampling, and they follow EPA regulated processes for that sampling, and then those water tests go on. So absolutely, we follow all of those procedures to make sure that it's taken. So when people had called and said they had collected their own sample, we can't take that, like any EPA organization could not do that. We have to make sure that any sample is taken under the right circumstances. And I do want to mention that out of the more than 7,000 samples that have been taken during this long-term monitoring period, there have been none that have had any detection for JP5. So there are a lot out there. The water continues to meet the federal and state safe drinking water standards, but we're going to continue, like I said before, even when the long-term monitoring program is over, the Navy is looking to have another program to continue monitoring the water, and we're going to work on that with DOH and EPA.
Okay, as far as you mentioned, EPA has a testing standard or protocols. What is the protocol for testing pipelines that had oil in them? Because you just be upfront with all of the homeowners there and just tell them every day in the morning, just run your water for 10, 15 minutes before you take a glass. That'll be simpler than this homeowner might be away overnight, and he comes in, takes a glass of water, and everybody in Hawaii is trying to conserve water. So we don't want to run our water 10, 15 minutes. But if the Navy just tells them, just run your water every morning for 10, 15 minutes before you take your glass, then everybody should be fine, because you're getting out that high concentration of pollutants by doing that. I don't think the EPA has any guidelines for testing water that's in a oil-filled pipe.
Okay, well, first of all, I want to say that we don't have that situation. We followed industry standards and EPA guidance. So you might remember early on, we did the massive flushing of the system. which if there was anything in there would have flushed it out. So we are not seeing any detections of oil that are in it. Any TPH, total petroleum hydrocarbons, that could be any type of plumber's putty or some other, or a gasket. We did fingerprints on those detections, and that did not fingerprint for JP5. So we're not seeing what you described. We're seeing that the water continues to meet all state and federal safe drinking water standards. Now, what you were saying early on, like if anybody, no matter where you live, if you're gone for a while, when you come back, you should run the water just to make sure there's nothing in there, and maybe get your faucets checked. I think I've seen that there's some of the schools are replacing some of their, their fixtures for lead. So our water continues to meet the standards. We're going to keep on testing. We want to ensure that people have confidence in the water. DOH has said it's good. EPA has said it's good. We share all of the results with them.
As far as normal
Okay,
people.
hold on, sir.
Yes.
I mean, what else you got? I mean, are we gonna continue down this discussion?
I can shut it down.
Okay.
Down?
Would you please? Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you. Okay, all right. I think I understand his point, which is maybe if you could, I don't know, put in the resident handbook to run the water 15 minutes prior when you're extended or something like that. So.
Yeah, we'll look at that, and when that is available, it'll be online, and we can share it with you all as well.
Okay, thank you. Okay. All
There's
right,
a
moving
handout.
on.
There's a handout. Gunnar.
Oh, okay. Let's get to those then. Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Garner. Is it Garner or Miss Garner? Mr.
Hi,
Garner.
thank you, Chair. Can the Navy comment on the recent CRI article, the Community Representation Initiative, their concerns regarding transparency of the Navy group that's transitioning from the JTF and their failure to attend their last scheduled CRI meeting? Thank you.
Thanks for the question. I appreciate that. I'll start off by saying that a lot of what we do for both the Joint Task Force and the Navy Closure Task Force, we value community engagement. That's why we attend neighborhood boards. There are other stakeholder groups that we talk to and other individuals. So the Community Representation Initiative came out of the administrative consent order that the EPA did. And we are, in that consent order, it says that the Navy should have 2 meetings a quarter with them. So that was at the beginning of the quarter. And I know what we are interested in doing, and I think all of us are interested in doing, because we all have the same goal. Let's continue moving forward to defuel and close the facility and ensure safe drinking water. So we wanted to make sure that the meetings that we're having, the conversations we're having, are productive that way. So that was one meeting where the Navy was not at, but we want to work with the community on the way forward.
Okay, so the Navy has no comment on the CRI's, I guess, position that the Navy is not being cooperative or transparent?
I believe the Navy is being transparent. We are providing information. We are definitely going to meet with community groups. Like I said, the consent order has a requirement to have the 2 meetings a quarter, which the Navy had signed to. I believe that there is some discussion going on how do we make the meetings more productive, because we want to answer questions and move forward on how we can work together on it.
Okay, thank you. Look forward to the future meetings with the CRI and having their concerns met. Thank you, Lydia.
Thank you for your question, Garner.
Okay, and you said there was a second question?
Yes, from Blaze online. He said his microphone isn't working. I can read it, or Lydia can just take it in the chat.
Okay, hey Lydia, you got the chat open? Can you take a look at that?
Yeah, let me take a look here. Let's see. There's a question about, it's for Vic though. Is that the one you're talking about? So it says, Uncle Vic, what are you guys going to do with the Hales at Fort Alili Nui Kamehameha Ikahi? can dismantle and share with Kumu Hina and Cousin Twinkles on the west side for help. Is that what you're talking about? Is that the question?
Yes.
Let me hear the whole thing. Can they send it to me and I can answer it that way, but I can't hear the whole thing.
Yeah, how about you just follow up next month with this one?
All right.
Okay,
Well,
yeah, this looks like a different question than what we're talking about right now. Anything
Yeah,
else?
I just had, so there's a CRI meeting on Thursday. Will the Navy be attending that meeting? Just as a follow-up to Gardner's question.
Yes, I believe the Navy's planning on attending.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right, unless there's anything else, let's move on. We're already 10 minutes past the hour. Okay, nothing heard. All right, thank you both.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Mahalo.
Mahalo. Okay, State Department of Transportation, Mr. Avi.
Okay, can you see my screen there?
Sure can.
Okay, good evening, Chair Woods, members of the Aiea Neighborhood Board, Casey Avi from the State DOT Highways Division. At last month's meeting, there was a concern about a newly formed pothole near the recently repaired under drain on Uluni Street near Kauapani Street intersection. I am working with our district maintenance office to schedule a repair and report back at a future meeting. At last month's meeting, Representative Aiea mentioned about a pilot noise program. During the 2023 legislative session, the governor signed into law Senate Bill 588 related to excessive noise, which requires the state DOT to develop and implement a pilot program to use noise detection traffic cameras to address excessive traffic noise in urban areas having a population greater than 500,000 people. I checked with our program manager and we are in the process of getting a consultant on board. Our report will provide additional information to this pilot program at a future meeting. The state red light pilot program is scheduled to end in December 2024, and upon completion, the program will become permanent. Therefore, all counties can establish their own red light program starting in January 2025. So if the neighborhood boards want to install permanent red light cameras at intersections on county roadways, you can start reaching out to your elected county officials or the mayor's representative. If the neighborhood boards want to install the cameras at intersections of state roadways, the board can write a letter to our director. The red light cameras can also detect speed of the vehicles passing through the intersection, so people have been requesting if these cameras can be installed to issue speeding tickets. House Bill 2267, introduced by Representative Ichiyama, and Senate Bill 2243, introduced by Senator Elefante, where the state or any county can establish an automated speed enforcement program to enforce the speed restriction laws on state and county roadways. We want to thank Representative Ichiyama and Senator Elefante for introducing these bills because we support these bills since speeding has always been one of the top contributing factors in motor vehicle fatalities for the past decade. And finally, although this project is not in the Aiea Neighborhood Board jurisdiction, I would like to inform the board about this new 2-year-long project because it may affect your travel time while driving at night into the Honolulu area from the west side. In the December 28 Star Advertiser, our contractor, Hawaiian Dredging and Construction Company, placed this notice to motorists ad about night work starting on January 2nd and continuing until December 2025 for our $100 million H1 freeway eastbound improvement project from Ola Lane Overpass to Liki Liki Highway off-ramp. The newspaper notice had an error on the working hours for Sunday through Thursdays. Per our December 29th news release, the working hours is from 8 p.m. to 4:30 a.m. And on Friday and Saturday from 8 p.m. to 7 a.m. 2 lanes will be closed each night. I will place the project website and our weekly road work and lane closure links in the chat. The scope of work is to enhance safety and alleviate congestion at the Moanalua and H1 merge by widening the Makai side of the freeway to eliminate the center lane merge starting from the Ola Lane overpass. This picture shows the existing Ola Lane overpass where the merge starts. This picture was taken from the Ola Lane overpass showing that construction has started. Currently, there are 4 existing through lanes. The project will add another through lane that will be a dedicated lane to the Likelike Highway off-ramp while maintaining the 4 existing through lanes. Where sufficient space is available, a 4-foot median shoulder and a right shoulder that varies between 2 to 8 feet wide will be provided. This picture shows the existing shoulder that will be widened to add the dedicated lane to the Likelike Highway off-ramp. The engineering and construction challenge will be at the Gulick Avenue overpass, where the overpass will be lengthened so 5 lanes can fit under the overpass. Besides lengthening the bridge, the clearance height of the overpass will be increased. In the past, we had incidents where large trucks hit the bottom of the overpass, requiring the DOT to temporarily shut down the freeway. To reconstruct the Gulick Avenue overpass, the proposed plan is to completely remove the existing overpass for approximately 6 months and install a temporary bridge for bikes and pedestrian use only. During the removal of the existing overpass and the installation of a temporary bike and pedestrian bridge, the H1 freeway will be completely closed in both directions overnight. Once the dates for the full closures are set, HDOT will notify the public. This picture shows the existing approach to Likelike Highway off-ramp where the shoulder will be widened. And this picture shows the Likelike off-ramp where the project ends. This concludes my report. I can take any questions at this time. Thank you.
Should I address the elephant in the room right now? You're gonna close the H1 for 6 months?
No, we're gonna close the H1 overnight.
Okay, for 6 months.
No, not for no. For 6 months, the existing overpass will be removed. So cars cannot use that overpass going from the Malka side of Gulick Avenue to the Mackay side.
Okay, I got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you anticipate in terms of like how much traffic this is gonna cause? Because that's kind of in the similar area where the rail's going now, right? So.
The rail is going on Dillingham.
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah,
people go through, they'll bypass H1 and take Dillingham or take Nimitz, right?
Right.
And if this is occurring during that time, it's gonna cause problems, right? I would think.
I'm not sure, but we assume that during at night, we are hoping that the traffic will not be as heavy.
Right.
During the day, we're gonna have to encourage motorists to use alternative routes because our key part is trying to widen the freeway, extending so we can fit 5 through lanes. That's our challenge right now.
All right. Thank you for your report. Board members, any questions?
Yeah, I got a question for Keith.
Okay.
Casey, thanks for the update on the Kahua Pa'ani situation. I got a question. You know the zipper lane heading westbound. Why is that one merge that's right after the merge, just before the off-ramp to get off of Nimitz, to take the Nimitz exit on that side? Why is that westbound that used to be access to get onto the zipper lane have been closed? Because the only way you can get onto the zipper lane is down by Waikele, Waipahu area.
Okay, you're talking about going westbound?
Oh, no, sorry, eastbound. Sorry, eastbound.
Eastbound.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Going eastbound off ramp at Nimitz.
Just after you pass Aiea side, there's that one that used to be able to merge into the zipper lane before that exit coming off on the viaduct area. That's been closed up for I don't know how many years, but that would make a tremendous amount of time of getting into town a lot easier.
Okay. I would have to go check on that and have to report back next month.
Okay, thanks, Casey.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other questions, board members?
Yeah, I got a question, Chair.
Go ahead, Russell.
Casey,
Yes.
this closure of the freeway, and I was just thinking, how is that going to really impact in case if there's an emergency, someone who is dying and needs to get to the hospital. Most of the hospitals are in Queens, Kokini. Coming from the west side, you got to get through that area. I think the overpass that I was looking at the viaduct, and doesn't the viaduct end up with that going through that same overpass,
No,
that Gulick,
the Gulick overpass, you probably have, if you're coming from the west side, you probably have to take Nimitz.
oh boy.
Yep.
If you guys considered that, because, person dying possibly, or having a heart attack or stroke, you gotta go a long way through
Nimitz,
that. just to get to
Dillingham
the
Boulevard, because this is at night. So you probably have to use those other alternative routes. Again, hopefully, with the flashing going on, the people would sort of move on the side so the ambulance can go through quicker. But yeah, it will be a problem. We know it's going to be a challenge. That's why we wanted to keep you folks abreast and let all the people know on the west side this project is starting and will be a challenge for everyone.
We doing anything to try and help the businesses that's near the area that's gonna be heavily affected? Cause like my friend's restaurant is right over there, Matsumoto's Delicatessen, yeah.
I can check and find out if they can do anything to the local businesses.
Okay, thank you.
Danny, you had something?
No.
Okay, you're good. Okay. All right, community members, any questions for DOT? Okay, nothing heard. All right, thank you. Thank you for your report. It's been a bunch of good news tonight.
Hey,
Okay,
can you just stop sharing your screen when you get a chance, please?
Oh, yeah, I gotta close it. Thank you.
we like the parrots, by the way, so. that's great. Okay, let's move on to board business. We got a vacancy we need to fill. One position from sub-district 2. I guess, has there been anybody who's applied for it? Logan?
I haven't heard.
Okay, anybody here is interested in applying for that position? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Nominate Lawrence Hego.
Okay, does Lawrence Hego want to apply for the position? Okay, I appreciate that, thank you.
For anything else, I just need to double check the resume.
Okay, all right. So do you have a license, driver's license with your residence on it, or?
And you can see if there's anyone else.
Okay, all right. Is there anybody online that would like to apply for this position? Sure, Claire.
Does it matter where you live as well?
Yes, in this particular district it does.
Yeah, it's a sub-district.
Yep.
Remember when we did away with the past.
Yeah, but not this one. So we did half the positions at resident ones, like at large, and then half were still, there's always going to be one person that's going to represent a district no matter what. And that's this position.
So that's actually not correct.
Oh,
What
okay.
you guys changed it was the current vacancies that were existing back then. There were 3. You just
Right.
changed just those 3 to.
Oh, okay. But it ended up being kind of like that, right?
Said nothing because you guys didn't say anything about have to have one in the district.
No, but I think it ended up being that way.
Still grandfather.
Yeah, it's supposed to be for this particular term. That's
right.
Because I think the other one that's from sub-district 2 is Russell, right?
Hey, Russell, you're in sub-district 2?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I am, but I'm at that at-large seat.
Yeah, he's an at-large.
Yeah, because Ben was the one who was sub-district.
Right,
2.
yeah.
Yeah, so he would be filling her vacancy.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I'm correct. Yeah. Thanks, Claire. It's all right.
Yeah, just to clarify for everyone, there were 3 vacancies and there was, I think, a month or 2 where you guys didn't fill them. So just those 3 seats were converted to at-large seats, but there's still multiple,
Right, so
I can
there's
pull up the breakdown if you guys wanted.
there's like 4 now at large, right?
4 or 5, yeah.
Yeah. So it was the other way around. There was 1 at large for every district. That's
No, there was 1 at large on the entire board and now there's 3.
Right.
Now it's
right. So now there's like an at large.
Here's the current breakdown is there's 4 at-large seats, there are 2 sub-district 1 seats, there are 3 sub-district 2 seats, there are 4 sub-district 3 seats, and there are 2 sub-district 4 seats. And that breakdown is just based on population density, I'm pretty sure.
Right, and I remember doing 1 at large for every district. I think is what in my head I was thinking.
That's all Chair Clark got it.
Correct. Right. That's how Jane got it. Yeah. Okay. All right. Good. Okay. All right. So we have you cleared them.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's in the sub-district
Right.
2.
Sir, do you want to say anything on your behalf and to the board? Oh, hold on, doesn't, hold on, how do we do this? I forgot again.
So the best practice would be for asking any, or any attendees if they want to.
I've already done that.
Volunteer, and then any volunteers can volunteer. Since no one volunteered until there was a nomination, yeah, Lawrence can say something if he wants, or you guys can just go right into it.
So I have to second the nomination?
There's no need for seconds on nominations.
Okay.
I would just make sure that there's no one else. All right?
I asked, while you were checking his ID, I asked
Yeah.
the general bot here.
Then I
Okay.
would just say, I mean, unless, if he doesn't want to say anything, then I guess.
Do you want to say anything, sir?
Should come up to the mic for us, though.
It's okay, you're about to sit right here soon, so you might as well just,
I'll get you your.
yeah, we'll get you your own mic here, you know, so, yeah.
Yeah, I live in the community and I know kind of what's going on because I drive around the Pro City area and I have concerns with crime, the homelessness, and general infrastructure in the area. So, yeah, if I can be on the board, I would be trying to help everybody out. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we'll do a motion.
So there's already a nomination, so there's no need for, that is the motion effectively. So at this point, you can close nominations and then I can do a roll call.
Okay, all right, we'll go ahead and close nominations, we'll do a roll call.
Okay, great. The nomination is for Lawrence Higa, as made by member Arakaki. I know it's silly, there's only one nominee, but you guys could just say Higa for the name, or abstain, whatever you guys want. Anderson, Arakaki,
Higa.
Clark, Burgess,
It's online.
Kimo, you there?
Where did he go?
Oh, no, he's here. Kimo, you there? Abstain. Dwyer? Espiritu.
I don't see him.
Fitch? Glenn? Imamura Ugo? What'd you say?
Yes.
Mizusawa?
Higa.
Thank you. Sugimura?
Yes.
Suji?
Yes, Higa.
Whitfield?
Higa.
Wood?
Higa.
Congratulations, Lawrence. You're on the board with 10 ayes, 1 abstention, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Congratulations, sir. Or condolences, one or the other.
Chair, before moving on, I would just recommend a quick recess just so I can administer the.
Okay, all right, we'll do a 5-minute recess so you can, or maybe 3-minute.
Yep.
2-minute, can we do a 2-minute there, Logan? Can you get in 2 minutes? All right. Yeah, this water well thing is. It's biting that. It's biting my ass.
I get it.
It's just like.
Say, hey, I know it later. I'm less inflated.
I know what they're trying to find. We'll talk about them.
All right, Lawrence, you can sit if you want, or you can stand, raise your right hand, and you repeat after me, please. I solemnly swear that I will faithfully support the Constitution and laws
Constitution and laws
of the United States of America,
of the United States of America,
the Constitution and laws
Constitution and laws
of the state of Hawaii,
of the state of Hawaii,
the charter and laws
charter and laws
of the city and county of Honolulu,
of the city and county of Honolulu,
and the provisions of the neighborhood plan,
provisions of the neighborhood plan,
and will conscientiously
conscientiously
and impartially discharge my duties
impartially discharge my duties
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability,
as a member of the neighborhood board
member of the neighborhood board,
to which I have been appointed.
to which I have been appointed.
All right, congratulations.
Okay. All right, let's call order, okay?
2 minutes, I did.
Yeah, you did great. Okay, do board members need to have their cameras on when they're,
It's Yes, really, you guys should have your cameras on if you're participating online and there's a vote.
Okay.
Something like this, it's, I just pass over it just because there's only one nominee and you guys have a quorum for it either way. But yes, you guys should, as general practice, if you're attending online, you should have your cameras on when you're participating in the vote.
Okay, so hey, those folks, yes, thanks, Richard. Kilo as well, please have your cameras on, okay? If you're gonna do this online, please have your cameras on.
At least for the vote, like everything else is fine, but the voting should be.
Okay, all right, you guys hear that? Okay, cool. All right, let's move on. Homeless and overgrowth at the Cam Drive-In. So I received an email from a resident about this. I think Ms. Cordero's office. Who's representing Ms. Cordero today? I don't see her in here. Anyways, I think she's addressed it. You were on that email, right, Logan?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think the developer or actually the property owner for that's gonna cut the overgrowth and reach out to deal with the homeless.
Concern that was brought up at last month's meeting, right?
It wasn't an email, I got it from a
It
resident.
just came from an email?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the one that, council member basically said that they're tracking it.
Yeah. Okay, so I just wanted to bring it up because I'm trying to add to the agenda more things that anytime a resident reaches out to me, I want to make sure that we get it in there, especially if they ask to have it brought up at the board. Because we're a neighborhood board, we should be dealing with neighborhood stuff, right? So that's a particular item, that's a neighborhood thing. Okay, so, okay, yeah.
Just for stuff like that, granted, you can do it or not, but I always recommend, you guys should invite those people, like the person that raised the concern. You should have them come and tell you guys exactly what the issue is, right? Because everyone here, like, they might be able to follow the email chain, but they're not privy exactly to what's going on, right?
Right. And normally I do, but this one looked like it got resolved pretty fast.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, so, but I do want to bring it up that, I think what I'm trying to point out here is that, as residents have issues, reaching out to board members, reaching out to your representatives, there is action that does get taken. It's not like it just gets, disregarded. So, okay. So, moving on, speeding along, a bunch of different streets. So we've had, 3 now residents come to us about speeding along these particular streets. What do we do? We get the city and state DOT?
So last month, you guys did submit a request for a presentation at DTS, the
Yeah.
Department of Transportation Services.
Right.
And I'm on the mayor's report, which is what I submitted it through.
Uh-huh.
They didn't necessarily say anything about a presentation, but when Haku does present, there is some stuff, like a lot of information back from DTS about these concerns. So,
Okay, so we'll move on then and wait for that.
yeah, unless there's something else that you guys want to.
No, I know this is becoming more and more of an issue as we move forward.
yeah.
Jane, you had a comment.
Why don't we ask somebody from the police department? Don't they have to make a report? Is there somebody here?
I think HPD's already dropped off. So, but we can bring it, I mean, what do you like, have HPD sit on these streets and do speed enforcement?
They could probably do different streets at different times.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I mean, that's something that we can reach out to HPD about to see if they can do more enforcement along these roads until BTS does what they're suggesting that they do.
If anything,
I don't know how they did it in the past.
Yeah, how they do it.
Okay. On Colorado Street, especially right in front of the condominiums on the right-hand side. If you're coming down, they put the speed limit thing up there, which gives you the speed limit of the car as you're going by.
Okay.
It's not a sight thing, it's to let people know
Right.
how fast they're going. That's how they do it at Colorado Street. If I can go back to Cam Drive-In, or the former Cam Drive-In. The thing is, there's graffiti on the walls.
Right.
And over there's something, that sign, that is supposed to be a sign, has been up and it should be taken down.
Right.
That one. And there's some interesting things if you want to go into the companies that have bought it and sold it, and they bought it and waiting around. And waiting around in mine, and talking to the person that you talked to,
Yeah.
they say labor is too costly for them to do anything now, they're waiting for labor costs to come down. Now, that may have been changed. But, the grass over there is horrible, the fencing is down, and it's a fire hazard. And most of your fire, the wind over there is going from Malta to Mackay.
Right.
So if that field goes up, it's gonna go into that shopping center. So that's the deal on the Mauna Loa and
So,
also on.
so jumping back to the previous item, there was discussion from the or the owner that they weren't, because they were, that graffiti was pointed out, the overgrowth was pointed out, and the response back from the owner was that they were gonna take care of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
I've heard the same.
okay.
Yeah, it's been ongoing already,
It's
yeah.
been ongoing for years.
Yeah. Thank you.
They haven't done anything.
Is there something from I mean, it's private property, right? So is there something that can be done? Can they receive citations for graffiti and overgrowth?
Police department, we have to see it done rather than.
But no, from an owner perspective, in terms of,
I
right,
I don't know.
so there's no way to force the owners to clean up the property.
No, but they've been, when on Monroe Road, before you get to the apartments going west, there was a whole bunch of graffiti over there, and they did take care of that particular area.
Okay.
But now you have the ones that on Colony Street, that's really graffiti, you know.
Right. Okay, all right.
No, but the
Overgrowth
overgrowth,
off and on, so I don't know when they decided to do it or not.
yeah, the overgrowth though, I remember one time, one of the residents up there by Aiea Heights side had a problem with his neighbors because they weren't, it was a vacant property, the parents owned it, they live on Waianae side, but the overgrowth was going towards the roof and called up DPP, and then they came over there to talk to the homeowners to make sure that they cut the growth back.
Okay.
So, I mean, we know that can.
We're a little off topic.
We are a lot off topic, so let's jump back.
I'm speeding right now.
I'll stay on it. Yeah, would you?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And then I'll CC you on the email traffic that we've been seeing from Radiant, or Councilwoman Cadero's office with the owner. So there is that traffic, so I'll put you on it. Okay, back on topic now. So the speeding along Looney Street. Can we request HPD to put up, like what Chief was saying, put up the radar controls, the signs that say, hey, you're speeding?
They've had them on Looney Street for years.
Right.
Yeah.
Are they still on there right now?
Both going both ways.
Are they still there now?
The one,
Dalton Lewis.
yeah, no, I think they took it down already. Yeah, it's
Okay.
gone already.
Yeah.
Councilwoman Cornero's here.
Oh, there she is. Okay. Okay, great. Okay. All right. Thank you. Oh, okay. All right.
So Chair, yeah, absolutely, you can request the speed markers.
Yeah.
And when who's on there, I'll make a note of it, but yeah, that would be a concern.
Can we put one on every one of these streets if possible? It's been
If
mentioned.
you guys want to name every street, I'll take down every street you like.
No, the ones I have listed here.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, at least.
Part of Monroe Road, I mean, it just goes.
Yeah, it goes along, yeah.
One thing I would say is that if there's any, like, focus times, like, high traffic times, or, there's certain, times of the day, or night, when you guys would want them.
I mean, the real solution is to put in those speed bumps, right? That's the real solution.
Real solution, for those people stop signs.
That's true too, but in lieu of that, the real, put in the speed bumps. Okay, all right.
I have another question. I
Sure.
live above the freeway, and every night, like after
Yeah,
midnight,
yeah.
this cars go speeding by, and one day I said, when they're going down, and they're going to be on collisions. I don't want that to happen, but I don't know how they can monitor that, but it's like a usual, as I said, there's no raceway park.
Right, right. Yeah, we talked about that last meeting.
There's somebody.
Okay. All right, okay, so, all right, so submit some names to, or,
Yeah, I would recommend we just hold off for now. Like I said, Hopkins got a ton of info for you guys.
Okay,
and then
all right.
If you have more questions, we'll take them down and we'll follow up again.
okay, okay. All right, moving on to Department of Planning and Permitting, to address the monster homes. This is your,
I thought we are gonna try to some from DPP, but it's just not.
okay, all right. Is there a way we can get somebody from DPP in here? You did?
Yeah, so
Okay.
the one thing I'll say is, I think that might be like something with the DTS thing is, there's a lot of questions and then also the request for a presentation, right? So
Okay.
if you guys want, I'll just put explicitly, you guys want a representative from DPP to be at the meeting on this day.
Yeah.
And no questions, no follow-up, that's all you guys want
Yeah,
at the March meeting.
yes.
Okay, I'll note that down.
Thank you, sir.
And then,
How many monster homes are we talking about?
well, there's quite a lot, but there's a new one that's coming up right now on Lead Point.
Okay, because there was that article in the paper where there was a developer, I think, they moved on it, and they made them tear part of the house down.
Yeah,
The house with 11 bathrooms or something.
right.
You know, so-
to tell you about earlier.
Yeah, they can rescind it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, it looks like they're cracking down. And, that's why I'm surprised that, that they're allowed to be built because there was all that
Right.
publicity about that one house.
Yeah.
Well, what about the one that we just had the permit approval for up there in Halava Heights area, right? That one had like 14. 15 rooms and 14 bathrooms in it, right? So. Any update in regards to that one that's on the Lead Boy? That monster house that's up there, and that's.
We have heard with the resident, whoever has emailed our office, oh my God. Hi, everyone, Reading Cordero.
Hi.
So, hi, I apologize for being a little bit late,
Oh,
but, rushed as fast as I could within the limits, but I just wanted to share. I just wanted to share that for Lead Point, we have been responding both to the residents, our neighbors, as well as, our senator, with that, the permits are within their limits and also within their allowance. I would say, I want to say permit, but allowance for the floor area ratio, the parking and the plans. So that is why, I know we mentioned in the DPP, in the last meeting to request specifically from the board, I was able to make requests myself. However, it has to come directly from the board to allow for that explanation along with DTS to explain about the speeding. So we have countered many times, with different photos, with different components from the parking to the closeness on the I guess the lot near the street, I guess I don't know what's called, the driveway, and then the closest of I guess the egress onto it. We've tried many different components and it keeps coming back that it has been built to what is allowed. So once again, it will behoove the board to really request the DPP to come here and explain exactly what is allowed and what issues have been permitted, because we have provided that as well to the neighbors, as well as some of the neighbors' in-laws who have been assisting the neighbors as well.
Okay.
So,
Because the area's on a Malco side, yeah, the street, yeah, so it's actually down too.
It
right?
is.
So we start getting more cars parked on the street over there, there's gonna be possibility for some major
So
accidents.
currently, there's about, I think, 5 or 6 parking allowed. My staff and I were able to go on I guess a day where they were not building to really kind of inspect, but without going onto the actual property. Because we understand that there has been certain instances with the contractors or construction persons who are actually being violent towards the neighbors themselves. So that is another concern that I think we should also be alerted to, because if they're being violent to the neighbors, that's a whole other type of concern that we have to deal with.
Okay. All right. Okay, so DPP next week. or next month?
Just so you guys know, I mean, this is what I'm planning on putting is just, the board requests a representative from the Department of Permanent Planning at their March meeting on March 12th, regarding their concerns with monster homes in the district.
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Do the ordinances? I mean, do they set out what constitutes a monster home? I mean, one thing to have a large home, but you know, we talk about homes with 11, 12, 14 bedrooms. And that doesn't sound like a residential dwelling. It sounds more like a multifamily, you know, and so what do people use? Do they rent them out and to?
Down in that case, supposed to Halava area, it's supposed to be on camera.
Oh, no, so for Alip, we're talking about Halava or?
No, like, because we're talking about how many bathrooms is in that one residence up there in Halava side, right? So, yeah. I've had like 15 bedrooms and 14 bathrooms in that one. So, yeah.
Alip, right?
Alip, it's different.
There's.
So what, why would the city allow a permit for that type of structure? Because it doesn't sound like a residential building.
Well, I don't know what the case is about Alip though, yeah.
So if I may ask Alipoy first. Alipoy has two different two different parcels on that one property to allow for, I guess, different allowances of bedroom, bath, kitchens and wet bars as well. And so they meet just the exact limit that is allowed for both parcels on that property. As for, well, I don't know a lot of property we're talking about. I'm not sure, I don't want to assume or make assumptions about which property we're talking about, so I don't.
Right, the residents were against when they were trying to get the approval for the.
Okay, I see, we're talking about the care home with the.
Yeah.
Okay, with the conditional use permit as well as the, okay. Okay, I don't have that information, I'm not going to, I can bring that down on March 14th when I do have that information, but as for Leafway, Leafway can only be that part, that part.
Okay, all right, yeah, I think let's go ahead and table this one for now, and then when GPP is, we'll have a whole lot more questions, I'm sure. Okay, storm runoff along Aiea Heights Road, so I got a notice, or I got was that an email, Logan? I got from them? Yeah, there's a owner over there talking about the storm runoff along Aiea Heights Road. Is this another thing that DTS probably needs to take a look at? Because they're saying, basically that owner was saying that there's not enough drainage. And when there's heavy rains, it just floods everything over there, so.
I would need to look at the email again, but this is just me guessing. And again, I would, ask Haku before anyone else, but it sounds like a concern that the storm drains for either EFM or DDC if it's an actual construction issue.
Okay, so we can bring this up with Haku?
Yes, you might say the same thing, just follow up, but.
Okay.
You might know more than me.
How would we get the city to go out there and take a look at this issue?
I can submit a request from that to those departments.
Would you?
Yeah, I would just need I don't know if it's in there, but I just need the address and,
Okay, I don't think I saw the address. So
yeah, so that would be all I would need. I need a specific location, right, for them to know where to go out to.
Okay, all right. Okay, we'll follow up after that then. All right, okay, moving on. Unless anybody has any comments about storm drains on Aiea Heights Road. Okay. All right, approval of regular minutes for Tuesday, January 9th, 2024. Does anybody have any issues with the minutes or make any corrections? Francie. Usually you have something, so just asking. Okay, nobody has any corrections or comments. We'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the minutes as they are written. To accept? Anybody else? Well, hold on. Somebody's gotta make a motion. I can't.
Oh, Bill just did.
Oh, okay. Anybody want to second that motion?
You don't need
Okay.
a second.
Don't need a second?
You do need a second.
Okay, all right. Anybody oppose the minutes as they are written for January 9th, 2024? Nothing heard? Okay, Minutes are approved for January 9th, 2024, as written. Sort of did that right. Okay. All right, let's move on. Am I good moving on?
Yes.
Ronald, am I good moving on? Okay. All right, residents and community concerns. Anybody out there want to bring something up? Who's we?
Yes.
Oh. Oh, behind us, okay. Microphone, yes, ma'am, sit down, please.
My name is Joan and we live at 992 Great Luna Street. When my parents purchased the land, we owned half of the river. And the other half, we're not sure if it's clinical lab side, but what we're seeing is with the heavy rainfall, it kind of like erodes the land. And it seems like there might be like landslide, but there's trees and overgrown trees. So I don't know if the board or the community knows who I can contact or who I need to speak to in regards to that, because it's a safety for our side of the land as well. So she'll be done.
So, you're talking about like clearing the stream area near your property?
The stream area is okay, but the way that it looks is that, there's no wall that can cover the side that clinical lab is on. We're on the back side of clinical lab.
Right, okay.
So there's trees, and then over the years, the roots are being more exposed. There's a
Okay.
possibility of the tree falling over to our side. There's also overgrown like bamboos, I guess, that was there
Okay,
before.
yeah.
So I kind of want to know who do we need to address or ask like for.
So, what I would initially recommend that you do, is, there's a website where you can do, it's called 311. And on that website, you can put, you can submit a ticket, actually, for the city to come out and clear, or take a look at the overgrowth and clear the overgrowth, or take a look to see if the tree's gonna fall into your property or whatnot. I live against the lava stream, and I do that all the time. Every about 6 months, I submit a ticket, they come out, they clear all the brush that's overgrown and everything
Has
else.
there ever had somebody come and assess the area?
For
I think
what?
well, he said that he used to be working with the sugar mill.
Uh-huh.
So they would assess the soil and the water. So we thought he would be the person to handle the overgrowth, but he said that's not what he does. He
No.
just assesses the-
Yeah, I don't know the particularities of that, but what I do know is that when you submit that ticket, it will go with the city first. And they will look at it and say, okay, is this on city, is this city responsibility, or is this state responsibility, or is this the homeowner's responsibility? And based on that, if they say it's theirs, then they'll take care of it. If they say it's the state, they'll pass it on to the state agency that will be responsible for coming out and taking care of that. And if they say that it's your responsibility, then guess what? You're gonna take care of it. So, but another avenue you can do is Councilwoman Cudero. She can help you out there too as well too.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, any other residents or community concerns? Okay, nothing heard. Okay, all right, we'll move on to elected officials. Governor Green's office, I think wasn't gonna be able to attend, right?
Yeah, he said that she was not able to, but I'll drop the newsletter in the chat.
Okay, Representative Ed Case's office. I don't think I heard anything from Nestor. Okay. Senator Glenn Wakai's office. Okay, and Mr. Elefante. Welcome.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Kungi Fa Choi, and happy early Valentine's Day to all of you. Brandon Elefante, State Senate. You do have my written report. For those online, we don't have anyone online from our staff. However, you can access our report from the Capitol's website and then go to our website, which has information there. Just highlighting the bills that I had from last month and the progress of them. And really, I have just a few updates for you. As Mr. Abe mentioned about the speed camera bill that I introduced and working with Rep. Ichiyama as a companion, that's moving to the Senate. As we go forward, it was just reported out this week in the Senate. And then on the issue of speeding, between the Aiea and Pro City corridor on one weekend in the middle of January, there are 147 citations and 42 arrests for excessive speeding. So it's pretty clear that there's a lot going on of speeding in the neighborhood, which is the reason why I've introduced measures as it relates to speeding. Another bill that I also introduced, which got heard and reported out today in the Transportation Committee, has to do with increasing fines and speeding in school zones. So with that, that concludes my report, and happy to take any questions. Thank you.
Any questions for Senator Alfonte's office or Senator Alfonte
So
himself?
47 citations over that period, like where was it actually? Was it all over the island or?
No, it was just, from my understanding, according to HPD, it was from the Aiea to Pro City corridor.
The H1
And that was
corridor?
Yeah, and that was only at night.
Yep.
Done from Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night, overnight.
So I live down in Lava, right? I hear them racing constantly along that corridor.
So if they got arrested, like, well, how excessive?
Yeah, you guys
do they have
probably
to
hear
be
too,
going
right?
to-
Yeah.
for them-
Well, I mean, excessive speeding is
Yeah.
like well over the speed limit.
Yeah.
85, 100, I mean.
There's no specific breakdown for member Arakaki, but it is excessive.
Good. Good.
So our office will continue to monitor that and work with the area elected officials to continue up with enforcement.
Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, good job. Thank you. Go ahead, man.
Where is the City Area corridor? What section? I'm not. familiar.
So that would be from basically where Aiea Elementary is down here, all the way to the Pro City exit,
On the camera there or the?
on the freeway.
That's what, but not where I live, doesn't reach Pono Street or.
Well, they would pass over you on.
Yeah, it would
Yeah,
pass
so
over.
back here.
Yeah.
That's good. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It's definitely having an impact even from where the Nimitz exits at, like going towards Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam, towards the stadium, back that way.
Yeah.
Because I'm not hearing the racing going on, at least in the last couple of weeks, as much as it had been previously. So, okay, good. All right, thank you.
I think there's a question.
Yeah.
Congratulations, board member.
Yeah.
Just like to clarify a discussion we had over electric vehicle batteries.
Yes.
I did contact Brad over at JN Chevrolet and asked him, is JN Chevrolet accepting all Chevy brand electrical vehicle batteries for disposal? He had somebody from his organization contact me, and they said, unfortunately, that information is incorrect. Our facility does not participate in accepting Chevrolet brand electric vehicle batteries for disposal. I just want to set it straight.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for following up on that, Mr. Higa, by the way. Okay. Okay. Oh, sorry, Mr. Garner, Mr. Shimizu.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Senator Elefante. I had a question regarding SB 3335, which is legalizing marijuana. The question would be if the mayor, HPD, and Attorney General all oppose, as well as many testifiers stating some serious scientific and social ramifications. And with crime being a major community concern, why would the Senate and this legislature want to promote such a possibly harmful element into our youth and our society?
Okay, thank you for the question. I'm not able to speak for the reason for the authors of the bill. We did have a hearing today as a joint hearing in Judiciary and Health and Human Services. I sit on Judiciary as a member. I voted no to that.
That's great. Thank you very much for voting no. Just another question. What would be the expected benefit of passing such a law?
You'd have to talk to the authors of the bill. I'm not able to answer that, sorry.
Okay, thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Hey, nothing heard. All right.
Thank you, Chair. Have a good
Thank
night.
you. Okay, moving on here to Representative Ichiyama's office. I think I put the chairs too close. Yes. Okay, all right, go ahead, ma'am, go ahead.
I'm here to take any questions or concerns back to Representative Chiyama.
Okay.
Mitzi?
Board members, any questions for Representative Tiama's office? Hey, community members, any questions for Representative Tiama's office? Okay, nothing.
Okay, thank you.
Spent all that time walking up here. Nobody had any questions for you? Okay, okay, Representative Kim Oyu's office. All right, nothing heard. Okay, oh, there you are. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm Reina, and I'm here on behalf of Rep. IU. Just some things that he wanted me to cover. So in December of 2023, he did send out a survey. And so if you open it up, there's some what do you call that? No. Yeah, results. Thank you. It's been a long day and I'm usually in bed by this time, but anyways. So some things that he wanted me to go over with you folks.
Have extras.
Oh, yeah, I'm so sorry. Sorry, I thought it was, you know. So one of the questions that was asked was, do you believe if the presence of armed school, is that in? If armed school resource officers enhance hinders the overall safety and well-being of students on school campuses? Oh, okay, thank you, sorry about that. So that one, he told me to let you folks know that when he comes next month, that he'll go over that. There's also one question, do you support having school resource officers armed with guns on school campuses in Hawaii? And if you look at it, 54% said no. Rep is not in favor of that. The other thing too was the bill to legalize marijuana. That he opposes that. Last week in the House, there was a hearing on what was it, lowering the blood alcohol level for drivers. That he voted no. And it's because he voted no because instead of lowering it to, what was it, 25, he believes it should be 0. Yeah, no drinking and driving at all. The other thing he wanted me to mention was if you're following the bills, this Friday is the last day. Sorry, not the last day. The first lateral of bills will go to the final committee on this Friday. And if they go to 2 or 3 committees and it doesn't pass, the bill will be dead. And then also Rep. Ayun also sits on the finance committee. So within the next couple of weeks, they'll be busy in sitting in hearings for the finance committee. I think that's about it. Does anybody have any questions?
All right, so for those online, let's look at this real quick here.
Okay.
So legalizing marijuana, how do you feel about well, first off, let me ask a question. What's the sample size of the survey?
I don't know.
Okay, was it 5 people? Was it 20? Was it 2,000?
I don't know.
Okay, all right. Because that probably makes a difference, but however big the sample size was, how do you feel about legalizing marijuana for recreational use? 53% supported that, 38% opposed, 9 not sure. What are your thoughts of redevelopment of Aloha Stadium? 46% supported that, 25% conditional support, 19 opposed. Let's see what else we got here. Just key standouts. Do you believe in increasing teacher salaries, even if it requires additional funding? We have roughly 94% voted yes, either a reasonable increase or yes in general. That's a huge amount. So I would hope that the representative starts putting some bills forward to increase teacher salaries, because it seems like everybody wants to do that. I think that kind of covers the big things I'm looking at here, but the key thing is I'd like to know what the sample size of this was. So
I can find out.
would you please? give
Yeah.
that to me? Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that information, though. Appreciate it.
Yes, you're welcome.
Board members, any questions for the representative's office? Okay, nothing heard. Okay, community members, any questions for the representative's office? Hey, Garner?
Thank you, Chair. I was at the Salt Lake Neighborhood Board meeting and I posed the same SB 3335 legalization of marijuana concern to Senator Wakai, who was in attendance. And subsequent to that question, Rep. Ayu's aide, I believe it was the same person.
Yes, it was me.
Yeah, and I thought I heard you say at the meeting that Rep. Ayu was against legalization, and I just wanted to clarify and confirm what I heard.
Correct. He's against it. He opposes that bill.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for clarifying that.
You're welcome.
Well, so that begs the question, why would he be opposed to legalizing marijuana when 53% of his survey results say they support it?
That's his constituents.
That's what I'm saying. He's
Yeah.
supposed to be representing his constituents, right?
Yeah, but well, I'm not gonna speak for him.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
I have my opinion. because
I'm giving you a hard time, but it does beg the question. We have, his numbers here are showing that 53%, vice 38% are in favor of legalizing it. So it's not like it's close. It's a difference of like 15%. So, yeah, okay, got it. All right. Hey, Claire, go ahead, sorry.
Would give us some information as far as how many surveys were returned and what was the, what was the?
I don't know.
Yeah, because you know what I mean, survey results, I mean, if you only got 10 people turning back their survey, then,
Well, that's what I asked, was like.
That
what's
I don't know, because I know the office manager was handling it.
Yeah, can you find out?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Francie, you got a question?
I just wanted to comment about your question about why, you asked about the size of the survey.
Yeah.
Depending on that response, when she gets back, then I would ask the question again about how many people of his constituents.
Yeah, I agree.
I would make just a comment in regards to that, because like when our office sent out a similar questionnaire and it went out to like 3,200 households in the district, we had back 12. So.
Okay, yeah.
I do know someone did. Sorry, I'm laughing because someone did return their survey and they actually cut out their address. So like to make it anonymous.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like that's the only survey I saw that was returned. The rest I didn't.
Most of the ones that came back, they were actually physically mailed to the office.
Yeah.
That came from, my guess would be seniors, right?
Right. Okay. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you.
welcome. Thank
Appreciate it. Yes. Okay, Representative Sam Collins. Sir, welcome. Look at you. How you doing?
Oh, I'm tired.
You look tired. You do. Still look good. I mean, in 7 years, you've never aged in my eyes.
Oh, okay.
But you do look a little tired.
Well, hello, Chair, board members. Congratulations, Larry, on the appointment. Where do I start? Last month, I apologize for not attending.
You were missed.
They had me moved.
What?
So I'm no longer off at 313, but in 305. So I have to
Okay.
prepare for the move, and it's just before session, so it's kind of hard. Um, I gave her the information to contact DFM,
Okay.
Department for City
Yeah,
Maintenance,
so
and
is it- yeah.
they're gonna hopefully help you out
Right.
there. Speeding on Ulune,
Yeah.
DTS has done study after study on these streets, all of them, Kaunohi, Ho'io, Aiea Heights, you name
Right,
it.
yeah.
They haven't acted upon any of it.
Well, hold on, but Aiea Heights they have, they put in the bumps.
Yeah,
right?
well, yeah.
And that stopped the speeding. like
Okay.
It did.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
But, not much otherwise,
Yeah.
so,
Well, the residents that reached out to me, they were asking for those speed bumps.
oh, yeah. And then, Ulune, what else, what was there?
Raised crosswalk.
Oh, I know,
think is what they were saying.
Kauno'i Street, okay, can I say his name? Cody Peacock? Have you contacted him
No.
from Avalon?
Oh, okay.
Okay, we were gonna do it. The Lions Club was gonna do it for him,
Uh-huh.
free of charge. You know, we supply the paint, we do the weed whacking, everything. But he put us on hold. He said that he was going to take care of it.
That's what he said to us, yeah.
Oh, he said that to you?
Yeah.
Oh, well. Yeah, so I'm confused. I don't see why he doesn't take our free labor. And we provide the paint,
Yeah.
so.
Speaking of which, by the way, I gotta talk to you offline about the paint.
Okay.
Yeah, because I want to ask you about where you get it from.
Oh, yeah, donated from all over.
I mean,
Literally.
Okay,
Yeah.
anything else, Representative Kong?
Yeah, there's a couple of things, but no, that's it.
Okay, awesome. Okay, board members, any questions for Representative Kong? Community members, any questions?
Good.
All right, sir.
Hey.
Go home and take a nap.
Yeah.
Okay. Mayor's office, Aku.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, everyone. Haku Millis, DDC. Try to make it quick. Mayor's newsletter, a few things, but I'll put the link in the chat. Couple of real quick things. Honolulu Zoo has been nominated for Best Zoo in America by USA Today for the first time. Starting February 5th, you can start voting once a day until March 4th. The vote is, the website is www.honoluluzoo.org. So you can vote every day. We're trying to make a campaign to make us the #1 zoo on there. So please put the word out, vote every day. I got sent a calendar notice from them, so I vote every morning, but do what you can. I appreciate it. They appreciate it. Neighborhood Commission Office is hiring neighborhood board assistants to engage public awareness, community support. Please send your resume to nco@honolulu.gov or call the NCO at 808-768-3710. Now on to the announcements. I know there are some DTS issues and questions that came up last time and were mentioned today. There was a request for a presentation today. And a lot of the concerns, a couple of the concerns were traffic mitigation measures along Ulune to reduce speeding and a dangerous turn at Kalaloa Street and Salt Lake Boulevard. First response, Department of Transportation Services is proposing to implement a road diet along Ulune Street between Kahuapa'ani Street and Alipoi Drive. The road diet will convert this portion of Ulune Street from 2 lanes in each direction to 1 lane in each direction with a center 2-way left turn lane, similar to what was done on Kauno'i Street. The road diet will improve operations of the roadway by reducing the effective width of the road, which should help encourage speed compliance, improve pedestrian crossing, bicycle travel, and left turn movements at driveways and intersections. DTS is currently in consultant selection for the design of this project, and DTS plans to present this to you guys at the board once preliminary plans have been completed. Regarding the Kalaloa Salt Lake Boulevard.
Hold on, Baku?
Yes.
Have they looked at the raised crosswalks along that road? Because those are pretty lengthy.
I'm not sure if they've looked at it. I imagine they have.
Okay.
And this is what is being proposed.
Okay. I
Bring
guess we'll
that up
talk
to them.
Yeah, we'll bring it up at the presentation. Okay, thank you.
I'll bring it up to them beforehand.
Okay.
So that they're aware.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's going to take some time before they come to you guys and actually present this. So I'll mention it to them.
Okay, great. Thank you.
The Ulune Street traffic light timing. A resident requested a traffic study be conducted at the intersection of Ulune and Kulabea Street, and Ulune and Haliwilico Street to adjust the timing of the traffic light during peak times in the morning and after school. DTS checked the area and found the cause of the congestion was at the intersection of Ulune and Kamakani Street. Contractors working on a federal duct line installation have not replaced the damaged left turn sensor loop. DTS made timing adjustments for Aiea Intermediate School's morning and afternoon school traffic, so hopefully things improve. If it doesn't, you know, let me know. I'll report back to them. The signage on Kalaloa Street and Salt Lake Boulevard, resident raised concerns about the lack of adequate signage at that intersection due to a confusing way the lights are situated. Can DTS take a look and determine if more signage is necessary? DTS will evaluate the board's request for additional signage at that intersection. Upon completion of the investigation, DTS will take appropriate action as warranted by their investigation and inform the board of the results of the findings. DPP, there was an inquiry about approval delays. A resident raised a concern about a permit approval and that she believes that without a well-known architect, the application will be a low priority. Can DPP comment or explain on their practices with the application process or what can be done or what is causing the delays? DPP permit issuance branch has been experiencing historically high volumes throughout 2023. As a result, the review queue delays were pushed to the nearly 5-month mark. Multiple review cycles lead to total project review time taking sometimes a year or more before achieving approval status. The permit issuance branch does not take into account the listed design professional when performing reviews and leverages all ordinances and codes fairly as accurately as possible. That is my report. Happy to take any questions. I know that was kind of a lot about the DTS, but in short, they have taken your concerns. They've taken action on one of them, still evaluating some, and they plan on coming to you guys and making a presentation. So happy to take questions.
Okay, great. Thank you. Board members, any questions? Danny?
Hi, Haku. I just wanted to follow up on the stream cleaning of the canal between Sears, the old Sears building, and Kaonohi and Sumino Farms. At the November meeting, you said that they were scheduled to come in December or January, and they haven't come yet.
They have not come. Okay. I will take that back to them. Thank you for letting me know. I'll make note.
All right. Any other questions from board members?
Haku, I had a question earlier regarding making the left turn coming out of that parking lot by Central Pacific Bank across from Al Miller's. They're going south on Connolly because there's buses that stage there that block the view line. Is that an issue with the city or that's a non-issue? Because I don't want to bring that up if it's a non-issue because it's hazardous. So there's going to be accidents over there because you cannot see the cars coming down. But in the city's view, is that a non-issue?
Yeah, I remember having a response to that last time. I don't remember what exactly it was, but I remember it coming up. I'll go back and take a look at what the response was. And if it's still an issue right now, then I will take it back to them because I remember something about it, but I don't remember exactly what it was. But are you telling me now it's still an issue and they need to look into
Hold
it?
on, Haku. Logan, go ahead.
Yeah, I remember that question. So we posted to HPD, and what HP did is they did a check on the area basically to see, and they actually observed buses blocking that space that you were talking about. And basically what they did is they reported it to someone at the state office, so also at the Department of Transportation. Yeah, and so it is something with the bus drivers to where they have to be let know that that's not okay, basically. Like you can't stage not in service buses there. It's one thing if there's, a backup of buses picking up and dropping off, right? That's just traffic, right? But they're not allowed to stage the buses there.
Because
Right. So if that's still an issue, we'll take it back to them and make sure that they're having the necessary conversations with the drivers.
every time I drive by, I see buses, but if you made a no left turn sign, then it'd be fine, because then the cars are not trying to look through the bus to make the left turn. But every time I drive by there, I usually see a bus staging in that area.
When was the last time you saw a bus staging there?
This past week.
Okay, so it's recent.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, when it comes to making those kinds of restrictions on roads, I can take it back to them and see what they think. But I think that because we brought this up to them in the past, they're hopeful to fix the issue with the drivers rather than restrict the left turn. But I will definitely take it back to them and see what they say.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Community members, or board members, any questions?
Sherwood,
Francie?
Haku, I want to just reconfirm that I got the right streets. The congestion that we asked about last month on Ulune at the intersection of Haliwiliko and Kula Vale Street, you said the traffic is actually being affected by, is it Kaimakani, you said?
I have Kamakani. It could be Kaimakani. I don't know. That what I have is Kamakani Street.
Okay, because I had to open up Google Maps and look at the map, and I think it might be Kaimakani Street.
Okay.
That's the one that runs over the freeway along the Halaba housing and alongside the Aiea Elementary School and the church at the bottom, St. Elizabeth's at the bottom. I think it's that street.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, it's probably a typo that I have.
Because that kind of makes sense with the traffic flow. That
Yeah.
street, that traffic light right there does affect the lower traffic light at the other three streets quite a bit. So that makes sense. Thank you.
No, thank you. And definitely let me know. They made adjustments to that. And so if it hasn't improved, then they'll probably have to go back and look.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, community members, any questions for the mayor's office? Okay, nothing heard. All right, thank you, Haku. Appreciate it.
Thank
Okay, Councilmember Okimoto's office.
Good evening, Chairwood.
Oh, hi.
Hello. Good evening, Chairwood, members of the board, members of the community. Councilmember Valakino Okimoto. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Okay.
can.
Okay, great. So you should have received my written report dropped off by Jocelyn. I just wanted to note some bills. I do apologize. I believe that there was a misprint in the page. So I'm on page 3, which is actually should be page 7. It's towards the latter part of the newsletter. The council did have our our committee hearings last week, and we will be having our full council on the 28th at the end of the month. But just some notable bills that were mentioned in the newsletter. Bill 54, which talks about how we can address the issue of oversized or monster homes. Bill 65, which is in the Committee on Zoning, addresses the matters of the state building code. And I believe there's a little typo on February 8th, the Planning and Economy Committee, we actually have been working on Bill 64, which is the Oahu's land use ordinance, and we focus particularly on residential land use at this time. So no actions were taken, but we are continuing to work on this bill as it is a huge one. All of these measures that went through the committees will now go before the full council on February 28th, again on Wednesday at 10 a.m. And just a few things pertaining to the community specifically, Director Millis probably is going to say the same thing that Councilmember Cordero and I are going to mention, which is the zoo. We were able to attend the little press conference that advertised or promoted the zoo. We're super grateful that the zoo is being recognized at this time. We are now right on place number 4. I believe we were 3rd. So anybody, if you can tell your friends, it's a quick text message. We have the link on our websites. Director Millis also mentioned it, but if you could go on daily vote for the zoo, hopefully we can move ourselves back up the rankings. And a little thing in the community, just a community event in Aiea at Aiea Bowl, I have on my newsletter just for your family members or friends, that if you check out at Aiea Bowl on Instagram, there is a chance to win Cosmic Bowl. So just some fun things in there. And you can also check out the activities at Pearl Ridge. But other than that, I know that it's getting late, so I will send in my written report and take any questions at this time. Okay. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chair.
Yeah.
Happy
Okay,
Valentine's Day as well.
Yeah.
Hi, Val.
Yeah.
Hi,
So
Raven.
big up there,
It's here
right?
for the
Like,
zoo,
the
Raven.
giant face over the.
Good evening, everyone. Great to see you all in person. I was really worried that I was going to miss my part, but then I realized I'm last, so you won't miss me, right?
We save last for that, you know,
Exactly.
best for last.
So, happy Lunar New Year. It was a great celebration. I would just like to share, there were a lot of queries that came to my office relating to the 3-story building that's popping up by Aiea Shopping Center. And of course, we were able to find out that it is I forgot, oh, it's yeah, yeah. So it was like, it's a construction and real estate company that's building their own 3-story building for their use. And I was just sharing with Claire, and I'll share with you all, that I think we were talking about this, and we were talking about the stream, and you know how there's access points behind this property. And so when I met with Department of Facility Maintenance, I was able to just bring up this concern, because the director does live in Aiea, and shared that, you know, if there's any possible problems with stream access due to this building, if we can kind of get ahead of the problem ahead of time while they're in construction. So we've started that process in conversation with the department. Next up, I want to address now board member Higa's congratulations for getting on the board. Another question, but the concerns about the streets, the street lines around Aiea. So myself and my team were able to drive around. We went around Palava. We went around Aiea Heights, mainly because I know that's kind of where you mentioned where it was. We went near Wanalua Road. We went all the way to the end part of my district in Aiea, and we were able to check some of the lines, and a lot of them where there were lines or lines meant to be lines were already repainted. So there are paints. Maybe there are areas that did not originally have painting strips on the road. So if you are able to share with me in my office which particular streets you may have concerns with, I would love to look into that. But however, we did check that out. And then, yeah, we did check it out. During that same day, we also checked out our street signs throughout our district, not just here in Aiea. But we also were able to see that the reports that we made in Makalapa, the street signs that took a while, but we were able to see that there are new street signs in Makalapa as well. And then something that I wanted to highlight that a lot of neighbors on the Aiea Heights area do pickleball, or play pickleball, I should say, not do pickleball. And a lot of the concerns have been about, I guess, the improvements needed at Keahi Lagoon. We know that the pickleball courts did come up pretty quick at the Keahi Lagoon. And so they are now closed up until mid-March for those improvements. Another thing that we have is the concerns relating to lighting that we have heard from residents, and I think this is someone from, well, actually not in this area, but closer to Cross Point, actually. Well, I guess that's Sona, Aiea. area that had concerns about the lighting being out there. And so we're following up on that. Next, I do want to mention that Representative Sam Kong and Representative Micah Aiea have issued out surveys to their districts. And this is relating to a survey relating to a temporary dog park at this parcel here at the park, at this park space. And I want to highlight temporary, and as I shared with Claire, she says that, you know, things are not always temporary. However, there needs to be a master plan done for this park to be an actual functioning park. And so it has to be temporary. And so Representative Sam Kong emailed his district, as well as we partnered with Representative Micah Aiea to do so too. I personally, my office does not have the budget to do a mail out to my district. And if I do a mail out to my district, it would have to go to 110,000 homes. So I do not have the ability for that. So I want to thank them for their partnership to do that. We will look at the survey responses. I have heard from Claire and the concerns of the Aiea Community Association. We did talk about the proposal of, you know, looking at a possible heritage park there. This is something where, you know, we have sister cities, and I'm actually going to a place called Baguio in the Philippines, where they have a heritage park where they have sister city trees. It's just a beautiful floral, and it really heat manages a lot of things there. But that could be a possibility there. However, a dog park with its fencing and other types of facilities are more temporary than placing trees, where if we uproot them, that's going to be a huge issue at the city. We do not want to get rid of trees, because if we get rid of trees that we put in, we're going to have to replace them at the same location. And so that is something that is at least a temporary proposal. And so I look forward to the responses from the surveys. And once again, I'm not receiving those, but look forward to my colleagues, Rep. Kong and Rep. Aiea, for that. Next up, if you have 6 months until you have to renew your license, please do so you don't have to wait in line the day before it expires. And, you know, I gotta say, I'm guilty of that. So don't be a Radiant, do it early. Yeah. So, and I think that's all I have right now. If I missed any follow-ups, please let me know. Oh, actually, yes, I have follow. I remember, I mentioned to please have DTS come here, because I know that they do want to address the speeding concerns on Ulune, but I do not want to speak for them. So I really, once again, highly request that you folks make the request, because I've made the request, but they're like, yeah, you could just be telling us, but it's not the neighborhood board who said to come out.
Right.
So
Okay,
anyway, thank you.
thank you. Board members, any questions for Ms. Cordero?
Yeah, I got a question. You guys said that Makalapa Park update, yeah, a few weeks back, where you guys was meeting during the daytime, during the weekday.
Yeah, Wednesdays, it's on.
Something was right, yeah. So like, you need an update about that, because it was a very interesting meeting with you.
Right.
So they did do like a workshop thing, I think.
Yeah.
I was in DC at the time, I think, when they did that.
Okay.
But I don't know what the result of that was, but I periodically attend that Wednesday one, so I'll get back to you on that one.
Oh, how about like planting trees or something like
Right,
that?
yeah, yeah, because there's not enough trees, there's a certain
Yeah.
limit. So that begs the question, what about this park over here? There is no trees to this
Right.
park over here, so.
So like I mentioned, there needs to be a master plan in that done for this parcel, or actually there's like 14 parcels on it. So this
Mhm.
property behind us.
Mhm.
And because of that, I mean, it'll take time. It'll take community outreach, community
Right.
planning, budgeting for a district plan, sorry, a master plan to be formulated to then match the rest of the Aiea District Park plan, because it wouldn't be really an annex. It could be its own park at the same time. So to figure all of that out, we also want to activate the space. Currently, if you're here after school, I'm sure you'll see, of course, the keiki walking, but also you'll see big Forerunner, Toyota Tacoma, it's not Tacomas, but Toyota, like just riding up on the hillside. And so it's interesting because We were there. I think even Rep. Kong was with us one time, when we were with the park staff, with the Senator of Elefante. And I mean, they're doing it in plain daylight. So we're really hoping to activate the space once again temporarily to then allow for not to have be a passive park right now. But you're right, the trees, it does need trees, but if it's part of the plan, we would love to include a possible heritage.
So how do we start the process over here with this park over here? Because we have the senior home just built, right? So I would assume that senior homes, the residents in that location will definitely use the park. They'll walk and, you know.
They will have their own park and they have their own dog park as well on Aiea, Halewiliko.
And I do know that I come here often and I'll see like in the evening, there'll be football practice happening and things like that.
People are upset because they leave quite a mess.
Yeah.
I mean, folks are, there is a Aiea Town Center master plan.
Yes.
And then on our website also, we were able to get an independent study class from the University of Hawaii, put together 3 different proposals and they did that free, but that was part of their class, but there was 3 different proposals on kind of a master plan for the place. So it's a good starting point. And one of them was a heritage kind of day, where they looked at the sound, how the sound and the noise forms here.
Yeah.
Controlling that and then making it a cutting edge kind of park. So that can be a starting point. Everything doesn't have to be government driven.
Government driven is government owned though at the same time.
Yeah, it can be government owned, but it can still, you can incorporate the plans that are already there.
But we can't ask residents to go out there and start planting trees on their own.
No, but if the master plan is, when you talk about any project that any government agency you appoint design money, you planning money, design money, and then construction. So if the planning has been already mostly done by the community for 20 years, and then you follow up, you can update it, and then you update your planning, which has already been design, which has already been kind of kickstarted. And I'm sure if you get Andy Kaufman he's a landscape architect from the University of Hawaii. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be as professional. It can be. I mean, you can have a professional person put the finishing touches on it and some money on it, I guess, and then we would appropriate construction money.
So that funding would have to be budgeted out of city budget? Right, okay. I mean, when do we make that decision though? Like, okay, now we put it in front of the city.
This property, right?
Can we use those 3 that have already been developed and say, hey, this is one of the 3 we want to
That's
do?
one of the starting points. So, that's how we got all of this property.
Right.
It was a community effort, it was community meetings. We, went to the state and the city. We knew our representatives put money in for design and planning, and then ultimately construction for the state library here. And then, the city came through with the affordable housing, that senior housing.
Right.
So, I would be glad to see, something, come up with.
Well, fortunately, we have the budget chair here, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah. So.
This is why, of course, exactly.
Yeah.
And right now we have the attention on the property.
Okay.
We have, and the reason why, and I have to say, I want to thank our Parks Department who for a while has, took a step back in looking at these things, but they're willing to work with us to make an active property, make this property active, for the meantime, but recognizing that there are those documents, those studies, but at the same time, plans have changed. The parcel is a little bit smaller based off of how much Aiea, Halewiliko needed. Well, what we thought, so we actually, right as they were doing their construction, our parks department, working through my office, had to talk to the consultants because what we thought was our city property, they were putting fencing on, building on, had things on there. And we found out new things, that it is part of Aiea Palobilico. So, you know, I'm not trying to negate anything. I'm just saying that I want to make sure that, first off, we're activating the place. Two, we have our survey out. If majority of the survey says no way, Jose, then of course, you know, I'll make sure to team up with everyone to discuss that. If the survey says otherwise, then we'll talk about it at the same time. But I just wanted to share with you all that through our representatives' offices, we have this survey. I'm not moving on anything until we have those results. Yes, I have our budget going through right now. And yes, I talked with my colleague, Councilmember Dos Santos Sam, because I would love to have a sister city tree sprucing up of that park area.
Sister City, yeah, I guess, because what the advantage to that would be is, you know, when people come to visit, then they have someplace to see. And, you know, we can always sell it as it's in the backdrop of Korak, you know.
Yeah.
Something peace-oriented has developed.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay, all right.
Thank you. I just wanted to share that with everyone.
Right now, it's classified as a park.
Correct.
It's a passive park though, because
Yes.
they won't permit, they don't permit uses of the park because there's no bathroom.
Correct.
So the soil, everything was tested, is this the old sugar mill site?
What
It's
happens?
clear?
Yeah.
Yes, we, actually, after the meeting that myself, Senator Elefante and Rep. Kong had there, we had the maintenance support services guys, and they were able to check the water, access points. They were able to check the soil. They were able to check how deep, like, things could go and if it's removable, but also like can be solid with fencing. So we had that check, yes.
You know, when the city bought this parcel and the state bought this parcel, the land had to go through, the bank who owned the land had to work through a voluntary mitigation thing for cleaning the land with the Department of Health.
Yeah.
So they, you know, kept certain things, you can't dig it all up and, you know, that kind of thing, but they did adhere to the Department of Health's remediation. Okay.
So there may be stuff deep down that we can.
Well, most of the stuff that they did find, is not the stuff that, you know, it's like Red Hill, it's some metal traces of certain things that might be harmful to us at all.
So it's like part of the machine shop and stuff used to be over here.
Well, it was like, the mill was a self thing, so they did their own maintenance with their vehicles, so who knows where the oil went to, you know, all that other stuff, they were all inclusive to themselves. So that's where some of the, so when you talk about the stream, that's what we were concerned about way back when, because they used to flush the stream, but they did find a lot of chemical traces along the stream, and so we tried to tell the residents that bought houses along here that they cannot be growing things that are water-based, like loi, I mean, you know, plants that take from the soil, because that could be dangerous.
Okay.
How many acres are gonna be left for a possible park over here though?
I'm sorry, say
How
that.
many acres are gonna be left for the possible park over here?
The whole thing.
Yeah, yeah.
17 acres.
Yes.
17.
And I think 12 or 13 different parcels.
Which is part of the senior.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If you actually stand on that property, you get a feel for how huge.
It's massive.
Yeah.
It's really kind of stuff. And that's why it lends itself to, you know, our older community and being able to walk and access it and, you know.
Question, Claire, what is the status of that building? We haven't heard of it.
That one up there?
No.
Well, it's big, and they're going like gangbusters over
Yeah,
there.
good.
To the neighbors are kind of upset because they work on Saturday too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
What is the projected completion date for it?
It's supposed to be 2 years, but I think they're gonna finish in a year and a half, maybe less. So.
Good.
But once again, they will have their own park and green
There is their own
space,
dog.
landscape and dog park.
Oh, wow, okay. All right, great. Okay, any other questions?
Thank you all.
Nothing heard. Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you. We appreciate you too. Okay, moving on to reports. Board members, any meetings you guys want to report? Okay, nothing heard. All right, Community Association, Claire?
Hi, we are going to have our ACA meeting on the 19th, on the holiday again.
Okay.
7 o'clock here, hybrid, again. I wanted to announce our parade for this coming year. So it can be put in the minutes. It's going to be on December 14th, which is the second Saturday of the month. No, and it seems a little late, but it's just the way December fell this year. December 1st is on a Sunday, and this, couple of, Honolulu City Lights will probably be on the 7th. So December 14th, we ask for your blessing, because we have to, that's one of the steps we have to do.
Oh, I think you have our blessing.
Thank you.
Any objections to the parade?
And,
Any Scrooges here that want to like be a Scrooge?
and then we're gonna still walk the same thing. I had something else. It might be too late, but we are on on February 24th, there is going to be, sorry. We're gonna have a community workshop on practice communicating with your care recipients. So if anybody's taking care of an elder, or you're an elder and you want your children to have good lessons on how to communicate with you, this is going to be at the Lotus Adult Daycare Center at the Aiea Church on February 24th from 10 to 12:30 p.m. And, it said the RSVP date or registration date deadline was yesterday, but, call. I'll leave this with you folks. You can call and still contact them and see if there's space. I did, I don't know if you realize, but there is that city program for feral chickens. We talked about it. I think what happened is, there were a lot of feral chickens up there, right? This is a big thing. There were a lot of feral chickens up there, and once they started building, they moved south.
Oh.
There are actually a lot of them, if you go around that curve there on ramp, they're at that graveyard site. They go there through the day, they walk through any property that is along their way and go there, and then at the end of the day, they come back. I don't know where they go, when they come back.
By the Ipuku Pa Aiea signage, that's what you're talking about, where they
No,
congregate?
on the other side
Oh,
of that
okay.
event, kind of stuff, because there's a lot of grass, overgrown grass, and they're eating that. So I did get what the city's fact sheet was on it. And it's kind of a little deceiving, because initially when we called, so the vendor is Sandwich Islands Inc., or whatever. Initially when we contacted them, they thought because we were a business, they were gonna charge $1,500 for 2 weeks, and per cage, and you have to have a minimum of 2 cages. I said, excuse me, what's the city's share of this, kind of stuff? That sounds a little expensive. And then they thought about a little bit about us being residential. So then it's actually, and I got a clarification from the department, because I happened to go to something where the deputy director was there. It's $50 a cage. You can rent it, the cost is really $75, so the city is paying $25. There's still some gray area as far as what you do, how to dispose of it. So the answer is not take it and put it at somebody else's property. So we will work
I
on
think it's a
that.
pot in the kitchen on the stove is what the.
Well, unfortunately, I had somebody tell me that our chickens over here, our feral chickens, they're a little slimy to eat.
Yeah, who would eat that?
Yeah, who would eat that? Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, so I'm just saying, so if there's property on this is what you do for city and county, this is what you do for state of Hawaii, okay? But yes, there is a cost. It might be better to just buy some cages yourself. And then I did call these people and I could not get a cage.
So what do you do when you catch the chicken?
Well, it used to, I don't know. We're figuring out our own plan.
No more
Well,
points.
They come get them?
No, if you, I don't know what Sandwich Islands is saying we're gonna do for the fee. Okay.
When are these, the question I think I have, and this is not really for you, but it's like, when are these gonna be considered vermin, right? Because when they're considered vermin, then you can just kill them. indiscriminately.
We're not saying what we're doing with our chickens that we catch. I did
I
find
only-
one of my parents that runs a farm
Uh-huh,
on the other
uh-huh.
side of the island, so we might turn them over to him,
Okay.
kind of thing. But, yeah, I mean.
Because pigs right now are considered vermin, right? So I don't think that you even need a hunting license to go after those.
I don't know.
I'm pretty positive.
Okay.
So just saying.
And some people want them because they want to turn them into fighting chickens, which is.
Yes, which
Not
is illegal,
illegal.
by the way. So, yeah.
Actually, okay, so for information's sake, if you want to have chickens at your house to raise as pets, you are allowed by statute to have 2,
Okay.
okay?
It's good to know.
No more than 2. But the problem is the feral chickens don't fall under that category, and there are people out there that feed them.
Oh, yeah.
You know, 20 years ago when we started this chicken thing,
Yeah.
I mean, we had people come to the community and say, you know, this is plantation town. We're known for chickens and stuff. So what's the problem with that? You know, but now they're kind of in, you know.
Isn't there
overall.
a law now that was passed? Rick, for them to go ahead and if you feed the chickens, it's not a fine.
It is, but yeah, but you gotta get them active. You know, you gotta report them, and they have to be caught in the act before you can find them.
Kind of like fireworks.
Yeah, and you know how well that went. Anyway, so I'm leaving you this and.
Okay.
and any questions?
So Claire, those
Alright.
cages, when you get them, you own them now, you're paying the fee.
No.
It's a rental.
No, it's only for, you don't own them.
So like how long is the rental period for them?
I think I
2 weeks.
was here in 2 weeks.
$50 for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But then you sell them extra. What do you do with the chickens when you catch them?
Gray area.
Your discretion.
Your discretion, because it used to. be the
Soup.
Humane
That's what you
Society
do
used
with
to
them.
take
Make them
The
soup.
Humane Society doesn't take them anymore. The Sandwich Island people says they'll dispose of them. They don't say how they'll dispose of them. But if you're just not doing it doesn't say what to do, what they're doing.
Feral cats.
You would think the feral cats would eat the feral chickens, but they're not doing their job.
Yes, I know.
So-
Is my neighbor, he's feeding cats.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Feeding more and more
You think
cats.
that's bad? You should go up to the Pro City Cultural, place. Oh, man,
Yeah.
just around dusk, when they know this lady used to come and feed them, they come out of everywhere. There are so many.
Yeah, the Humane Society, they don't accept cats. If you catch them, you bring them there, they'll neuter the cat.
Right, and then they'll reintroduce them to the colony.
Right.
They won't take it.
Well, but-
Okay, all right. Anything else?
No.
All right, great. No, it's good information on the cages, by the way. So
I'll give them.
makes me feel a whole lot better, actually.
Okay.
So, so moving on. Okay, community, committees. I have nothing from executive, transportation, chemo. Is he still on?
He's here.
There's nothing.
Okay. Nobody for community relations, park and recs, Paul? Not here. Okay, chemo for planning and zoning.
None at the moment, Chair.
Okay. Rabmaya?
Nothing.
Okay. And then Red Hill Fuel Tanks.
Other than me attending the Rep. Ichiyama's committee that we already spoke about.
Okay.
That's pretty much.
All right, and Danny, education culture.
Ho'ola Hoya Kalawa workday this Saturday, and then I talked to some of the folks at Aiea, and I think they're gonna start again next month with workdays at the fish pond out at Magoo Point.
Can you send me a link to that? Are you gonna be a part of that?
I don't know if it depends on the day if I'm gonna be able to make it, but I'll ask Kyola, yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to maybe come to.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think they used to do the first Saturdays of the month, but I don't know if this year they're changing it.
Okay.
It'll be the first bigger community work.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, with that, announcements, next meeting will be March 12th, on Tuesday at 7 PM. You guys know where the broadcast is at. There's a YouTube archive now, huh?
That's just the one that Francie made.
Oh, okay.
It's just a playlist.
Okay, got it.
On the front of the agenda, right under the link to the NCO YouTube page.
Okay, yeah, I see it. Okay, awesome. Okay, and with that, we are adjourned.
Maybe one
Oh.
more question. I wanted
Right.
to watch the Olelo, and you said the last Thursday at 6. And they
That's what I'm saying.
it wasn't there, it wasn't on. So maybe the next week.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, with that, we are adjourned. Thank you, guys. 6 minutes. Probably could have reduced it down even farther.